what I prepared for today is something called voice agent platforms. And this is the first part where we're getting into this agentic stuff. Now, in terms of voice agents or any AI agent, see, any agent, be it an written agent, be it voice agent, or is going to be relevance or some sort of generative agent who's going to fulfill some certain things, right? It is just a replica of how humans are working. And using obviously different senses, using different capabilities, we are going to execute certain things, right? As a human itself. So same thing applies to these agentic stuff as well. Like the whole industry is trying to replicate what humans can do. Can that be done by machines? That's a fair, straightforward thing in terms of agentic stuff. Now, when we say this term, what do we mean by this? Essentially, human has a brain, right? So we can take decision, we can do some logical stuff, we can let's say think about things and all, right? As soon as we hear, as soon as we get any input from any of our five senses. Second part is we can retain the context. So if you tell me some, let's say we started discussing something about 30 minutes back at the start of session, I still remember that thing. And you can ask me something and I'll respond to you, right? So I know that whole context in which I'm working. So it's not a standalone thing. You tell me, okay, switch on, do this, switch off, it's gone. Then again, switch on and something will happen. I'll forget the previous thing. It's not like that. So it's going to have some sort of memory, right? The third thing is, do we have knowledge of what we are doing? Let's say some sort of skill, some sort of expertise, capability, right? So that knowledge part is also essential, and that stores or stays within our brain, one part of the brain. And you would have heard like what is called brain anatomy or something like this, right? The human anatomy and all. So brain itself has multiple pieces, multiple parts. Where you say one part is logical, one part retain memory, one part do something else and all, right? A controlling part and all. So that's how these agents or all of these functionalities are, like people are trying to build, all these IT companies are trying to build, right? How we can replicate things. What is left out is our hands, legs, and maybe ability to speak, right? So these are three important things, or let's say two important things. We can take some action, some physical action, or we can say something to someone, right? So this is how we interact to external people. And these two things are getting replicated with the help of any sort of tools. So tools are like essentially wherever we have to even turn on laptop, you have to press a button and then that's going to happen. If you have to write something, you have to pick a pen, write things, and then that written document will come out, right? So same way, in terms of these agentic capability, almost any other agent, be it an intern agent, be it voice agent, be it relevance or any third party agentic service, they all are trying to replicate human capabilities in one way or the other way, with one capability or the other capability, right? And fundamentals are going to be always same. There is nothing different than that. So as simple as brain, memory, some sort of knowledge, and the execution capability. And now since these are virtual things, so how they are going to execute things, obviously like not a physical robot as such. So they need virtual tool as well, some sort of API connection, some sort of interaction with other systems and get things done. So they're not physical in the outworld, they're all inside our computers. So that's how they are working with other tools using coding languages, using API connection, using webhooks, and so on, right? So essentially, that is the structure of an agent. You already know, like plenty of times you already seen. Now, this is the foundation which stays everywhere as the same foundation. It's not going to change ever, or not going to change, sorry. It's not changing anywhere on any other platform in any other agentic stuff. Now, on top of this, there are multiple use cases being built. So someone says, I wanted to use agent to see something and maybe do some sort of information scan, some sort of information grab and process that with multiple things. Some would be using our speaking capabilities, our mouth. So voice agent got converted into the speaking capabilities where they are having all of these other infrastructure, but at the same time, their output or their whole use case goes on the speaking part, interact with other people using a phone, using a web browser or something else. The third thing is where agents are saying we can get things done for other platforms and all. So we are simply applying brain, getting things done with other agents or with other platforms. So that is another use case where we have to do things, let's say data entry by a computer, right? A keyboard or a mouse kind of a thing. So they are simply helping us avoid using our own hands versus agent can do this entire data insertion or agent can do this entire logical part. Agent can do any other system operations like turn on this, turn off this, send this reminder, do certain logical things and all, right? So essentially, very limited type of agents exist at this point, at least into this virtual world. But agentic is similar to humans, and fundamentals are again same. Only differences about their use cases. So what we are going to look into this today is essentially the voice AI agents, because you are already familiar, and that's why I chose it. We already did this voice agent into previous sessions within N10, within make.com. So you'll be able to correlate really easily. Now, in terms of other agentic platform, let's say Relevance, Lindy, Crew, or plenty of LangGraph, LangChain, there's that. There are plenty of other platforms also there. Now, these are different companies who are taking uh, see, it's a whole good new market, right? So everyone wanted to get benefited out of it, right? With some features, some sort of different UI, some sort of more functionalities here and there, some easy user interface, some easy user experience and all. So UI, UX features, these can be a little differentiator here and there, or maybe some technology advancement can be a little differentiator here and there. But essentially, otherwise, all of these platforms are working almost same. There is no major difference as such. And every company who's taking some initiative, who's doing some innovation in terms of UI, UX, features, pricing, or speed, other companies are trying to follow them, and they are reaching obviously very soon. Let's say someone is launching a feature today. Other companies can easily follow and come up with the feature within a month, 2 months, or 3 months time maximum. We are into an AI era, right? So don't get confused by the name. Let's say, are we going to build VAPI agent? Are we going to build, let's say, Bland, Air AI, 11 Labs? They are almost same. Same thing with Relevance, Lindy, Crew, XYZ. They are almost same, right? Just trying to establish themselves. Okay, this is a different name. This is a different company coming together, and they are selling their own use cases, their own user interfaces, their own features, right? So everyone has their own market segment as well, be it price difference, be it geography difference, be it demographic difference. But still, they have their own platforms, their own, let's say, audience who's going to buy from them, right? So what we are going to focus upon, what's the use of learning multiple platforms? See, when you're getting into out market and you say, let's say I'm good with voice AI, there is a client coming in with a complete, let's say, favorite from VAPI, or his favorite is VAPI, for example. Now, if you know, I don't know VAPI, I know Blend, right? Essentially, you should be knowing like 70-80% is almost same. 20% features or screen look will be changed. Now, you should be able to grab, or you should be able to talk about it, all the fundamentals, maybe some features here and there, some pricing part here and there, but you should be able to talk about that. And essentially, you're going to apply the same things over there as well. But if you say, no, I don't know it, you're going to lose that customer. Like how you saw Make and N10, almost whatever being done inside make.com can be done within N10 as well. But if you say, sorry, I don't know N10, or I don't know Make, one of them, right? Then it will be a flip situation. The person will lose confidence because he's a non-tech guy and he's coming to you considering you're a technical professional, right? So in those cases, and like if you know things, if you at least be able to convince them, you showcase them some good knowledge, some good confidence, people get converted easily. And then even you can convert them as well. So many people come to me and say, Manish, can you build this on Zapier? I know only Zapier. I don't know what Make and Anadon is. But since I know Zapier, I say them, okay, I'm going to do that. That's absolutely fine. But can I say something? Are you building it for a long-term vision, for a short-term vision? What kind of budget you have? What kind of volume you're expecting? And so other things. And by that way, I can easily pitch the platform where I'm comfortable, be it make.com, Anytime, or something else, right? And then the person also get aligned with, okay, I was not knowing that these are the benefit, but at least I should hear him first. I should be able to correlate with his language, with his, let's say, whatever he's trying to pitch in, and then I can put my things. And believe me, I convert like 70-80% time it's a success. Wherever I wanted to take people, I can take them. The client, I'll say, okay, I would recommend this for a long-term reason for these XYZ reasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then people says, okay, you are the expert, let's do whatever you are saying. So they came up with a particular their own limited knowledge. And when we open up the large, like bigger shop, they'll say, okay, let's go with your choice, right? So that's how things are there in market, or that's how things actually happen in practical environment. So good to have knowledge, good to have understanding of all of these, but you can choose any one of them to master yourself, to master your things, and then have knowledge about others. and pitch in your things, right? So essentially, important stuff, whatever we are learning, most of time they will be correlating with each other. So please try to grab the fundamental first, and then we can even see features of all of these platforms one by one. So what we're going to discuss is obviously the voice AI, and essentially how it is different. As I said earlier, they can do conversations, they can mimic how we speak, they can speak to the people through the AI agentic part, right? So people or humans don't have to involve, the agentic stuff can do this. Otherwise, brain memory, knowledge base, everything remains same. And they obviously have tools. So once we are speaking to someone, if I have to, let's say, query some database, if I have to do action on some other thing here and there, I can even do those things as well using the tools, right? So tools are the fundamental, let's say, hands or mouth, or let's say any like organ which performs some activity for these agents, right? Now, what are the common platforms? As I said, VAPI is there, Bland is there, Retail is there. Actually, it's retail.ai, RETELL. And 11 Labs, obviously, for their good voices, it's in market, it's well known. But again, cost is a little heavy on 11 Labs side. So essentially, you can go with any of these three, and they provide all of them, VAPI, Retail, Bland. They provide the configurable 11 lab voices. So you like, even if you're not on 11 lab, you can use those voices on VAPI, Retail, or Blend anywhere you want, right? So essentially, you have almost everything built up over here. Now, why we are going with VAPI? Not very differentiating factors as such. Almost other companies also provide, but a quick walkthrough of it. So obviously, it has low latency mode where you can choose which LLM you're going to work with, how much cost it can be, and at the same time, you can also have any sort of let's say fully customizable knowledge bases, fully customizable voices, and so on, right? So latency is quite low. i'll I'm going to showcase you how fast their tool call is. So it's almost under 100 milliseconds as well. So 1/10 of a second part, right? So that's the whole thing makes the agent so proficient and so fast. Custom tool, earlier it was a USP, but now almost any other one is providing MCP connectivity. Custom tool connectivity is also there. So that's all fine. Voice customization, real-time database, enterprise security. It has HIPAA, SOC 2, these kind of compliances. On one click, you can enable them, and the entire platform becomes compliant to these things, right? And obviously, multi-language support. I would not say Indian languages as such. We tried actually Gujarati, Marathi. It doesn't work really well with them, but essentially Hindi is fine. German, French, English, they are absolutely good. How any agentic would work, we are keep on talking about this. So first of all, speech recognition, what the other person says and how the agent supposed to respond to it, right? So speech recognition is there, LLM is there, as well as voice synthesis. These are the fundamental stuff of any voice agent, including VAPI as well. And finally, couple of use cases that we can talk about. One of them, which we are going to build today, is called insurance claim processing. So here we can have a voice agent where people can call upon, and this voice agent is working like a claim processor or someone who takes the information of any claim. So when you call and you say, okay, I'm hospitalized, can you book a claim for me? Or let's say my car got accident, and I wanted to file a claim or initiate a claim or something, right? So this agent is going to take a claim information, he's going to like interact with the person who's got insured, and then he's going to create a claim, will assign to a surveyor or what it called adjuster, who go and take the survey on the field, and then it'll quickly confirm this person back about his claim number to upload certain photos, documents, and all using Anyton. So this is what we are going to build today quickly on this insurance part. First of all, understand like how we are going to build it, a quick overview, a walkthrough, and then we'll get into the actual development. We'll also see what all steps we are going to follow all along with this. So essentially, as I said, if, for example, my car had an accident and I had a insurance from some company, let's say Reliance or HDFC Agro or something like this, right? I'm going to call on their number and I'll say, I want to log a claim, or I want to, let's say, submit some sort of claim thing, right? Now the person will ask me, are you covered in policy, like who you are, first of all, right? That person doesn't know me. Maybe by my phone number he may know, but that's fine. So he may ask me, can you provide me your policy number? It's a very standard question the insurance companies are going to ask you, right? So based upon a policy number, This agent is going to check whether this policy number or this particular policy even exists into our database or not. Right? That's first question answer. Based upon it, it's going to verify whether it's a valid policy, the coverage is there, it's going to check the dates. Also, it is going to check the policy status is expired, still valid, or maybe some sort of accidents are excluded, like drink and drive cases, right? For example, or you hit, you're like driving with some carelessness and then you hit someone, right? So, based upon those kind of things, it should also figure out, or maybe some sort of damage is not covered. So, it should be able to figure out whether coverage is there or not. Based upon it, is going to move forward and will say, uh, let me ask you a couple of questions. When this accident happened, where it happened, and so on, right? So, a couple of questions about like how many vehicles got damaged and so on, what kind of damage you incurred, what is the repair cost you may anticipate, and so other things. So, all those stuff are going to get into the system. And then once agent finds, okay, yes, that's a valid claim, that's a valid incident happened with this person, it's supposed to log and create a claim for this person, right? So just taking the information into system, and then it is going to assign a surveyor or whatever is called adjuster or someone, right? So the person who go and check the or inspect the actual scenario. Then he's going to provide all of the information back to this person that, okay, I created a claim for you, I have a surveyor appointed for you, and now it's your turn. You should also upload some sort of police report, some other documentation, any accident photos, vehicle photo or something like that on the system, and those will be captured into the entire database of the claim, right? At the same time, the surveyor also get notified, maybe they are assigned to this particular claim, or they can get notified via email, SMS, or something like that, and say, okay, you have got one inspection due for the this person at this location, and so on. So that is what we are going to do. We are going to use a couple of tools. One is called the verify policy tool, where we will capture the policy number or policy ID. Based upon that, we are going to query into database. Second is create claim, because these things are going to happen in real time basis. So as soon as agent cover all the information, it's going to check, okay, let me create a claim, and here is a claim ID, right? It's not say, okay, I'll create and respond back to you after maybe 1 hour, 2 hour, and so on. It's going to happen live on the call. And this will give you good exposure to tools and functions as well, right? How tools are working, how we can give them execution power in the system. And then in case if something is not working out, it can simply transfer the call to human agent or to human person, sorry, yeah, to human agent on a phone number, or maybe to other agent towards some other specialist. Let's say renewal is there or something else is there, it can transfer those calls as well, right? So that's what we will be covering over here in this particular use case. Obviously not everything, but essentially the core fundamentals of the voice agentic stuff. Now, we already discussed a couple of them, like how to configure things. Still, I'll try to quickly showcase you. While you're building any agent, it's super important, because to test it or to build it properly. Because if you take it live on the production environment without proper testing, it'll be a mess, a big mess, because the other person who's talking to this agent doesn't know, like they are talking to an AI. They may anticipate that they are talking to a human, and it's super important to ensure the quality checks first of all. How to do quality checks? Obviously, I'll showcase you that as well. You can do using chat. You can using like a couple of other tools. You can do all of these quality check or test runs over there. Second is we should always have some sort of guardrails. We should always have some sort of let's say barriers. The agent should not talk or go beyond that point, like how we simply say within our normal agentic stuff that when user is talking vague, do not respond or say it's not covered within my area, and so on. So those kind of things has to be put in there. And obviously a tool call should be limited or as minimal as possible, because every tool call is going to cost you time, not money at least, but the time part. So your entire user experience can go really bad if your agent is keep on making multiple tool calls, and it is just engaged with all its backend stuff versus attending the front customer at on the real time basis. So that is super important to ensure that these principle has to be followed. All along with this, when we do voice configuration, couple of things. The response speed should be maintained, as like Mohammed also said. So 1200 milliseconds is absolutely fine. There's no issues. But still, a natural pace can maintain within 800 to 1000 milliseconds up to a second time. or like 1 second of the response time, or max it can go should not more than 2 seconds or 2000 milliseconds. That's the maximum. In terms of any sort of interaction, like interruption happen from the human side, it should be able to attend it, or we should be able to configure it in right way, that if human is keep on interrupting or agent is keep on interrupting or saying everything in one single go, that has to be managed, because it should be a human like interaction to the other person, right? And finally, silence detection and the end pointing is also important, because if we have some sort of lag, or the other person is not talking or something, then those situation has to be handled in a very well manner. So these are some critical important point. And finally, like when we go above and beyond the basic agents, we should be able to do multiple agentic workflows. That's how one agent can transfer call to other agent, how to maintain the entire conversation context. That also will see theoretically, may not be practical as such, but those things are important, right? And finally, in case of any sort of call outcome has to be analyzed, uh, see VAPI, these kind of tools which got a little mature, they have some important thing called sentiment analysis, performance tracking, and their inbuilt AI can do the same thing for every single call that's happening through this agentic stuff, right? So that is also we are going to see how it works or how it look like. We can configure the variables or metrics of all these evaluation and the analysis part. So I think let's get into this use case itself. First of all, as we always do, we are going to start with a basic infrastructure where we have our policy tables, we have our claim table, and then we are going to get into further more about this VAPI configuration, right? Because VAPIs or this whole agentic part is one of the stuff into this entire channel, right? Into this entire system. But to execute things, there's supposed to be infrastructure always, right? So we should always focus upon what we have or what we should have to make this entire thing working. Otherwise, things will not work out, right? So let's go here, and I'll start something with Airtable. Now within Airtable, you can create bases. We started doing this in last session itself. So I'll say create our own base. And here I go. I would straightforward get into, I'll say insurance claim DB, for example, something like this, right? Now, within this, I could have two tables just to start and just to have this basic use case established. One is called a policy table, which has all the data about a particular person's policy, right? Second could have been something called a claim table, right? So claim table will, because one policy can have multiple claims. So I don't want to put both the things together into one single stuff. It's going to be a relational database with every policy. There can be multiple claims, right? So claims and the policy is going to be associated with each other, but into two different tables, into two different databases, right? Now, what I can do is I'll, let's say, go to Chat GPT and I can ask, okay, I want to create an insurance policy and claim table. Okay, it's good. So we have policy ID, policy holder name, policy type, start date, end date, premium, coverage, insurer name, and the status. And the second is called the claim table, which has claim ID, policy ID, claim date, claim amount, status, type, description, and the claimant name. So claimant name is going to be the same, the policyholder name. Okay, looks good. I can ask it. This is, let me speak to it. So these tables are going to contain the auto insurance, and auto insurance is supposed to have a couple of more things like the coverage detail, the deductible amount, alongside the vehicle identification number, vehicle make, model, year, and maybe address of the vehicle owner. On the claim table, it's supposed to have a couple of things like the claim title. What is the quick, let's say, brief about this claim? Not more than 5 to 7 words maximum. The incident location, incident description, the damage description. All along with this, what is the repair cost? Whether the police report is being filed or not, the reference number of this police report, and couple of information about the other party. Only one single column which contains, let's say, other party's insurance information, their coverage. So yeah, try to restructure these tables in that context. Let's see how it does. Perfect. Some of the things are coming in. Great. Okay, okay, okay. And here it says I could copy the table, but where to put after copying? Okay, let's try this. Let's go with sheets. Perfect. So we got this claim table over here, and let's have one more table to it. That's going to be our policy table. Done. I think this looks good. So let's have each of them downloaded as a CSV number one. I could go to insurance claim DB. I could have created a new thing right from CSV, and the CSV can come up over here. Create a table, policy type, auto insurance, premium coverage, deductible. Okay. Okay. This looks pretty decent. All good. Let's have another table which is about claims. I think we are good. The policy ID is supposed to be a mapping field, not a direct entry field over here. So I'll say link another record, and it's supposed to be linked from this table, which is the first one. Not allow multiple record. It's a single record linking. And see here, policy 1234 came out. Now I could give it a name. I'll say claim table, and this can be my policy table, right? First table I can simply remove from here, not needed. So policy and claim table, two tables are coming out like this, right? Are we clear until this point? So we created a simple infrastructure within Airtable to have all of these things mapped, right? And this could be claims mapping. Okay, now let's move forward. So this is our base ready at this point, and we can straightforward jump into our VAPI to create a basic voice AI agent, which is going to verify whether someone has a policy and then is going to even do this claim processing as well, right? So claim has to be created. Along with this claim, I could also put one more column here. So this could happen, let's say, any sort of document can be uploaded right here itself. So attachments, and attachment can go documents related to the particular claim, they can be put in here, right? Now, let's go to VAPI. I got already one assistant built as a trial version. I could even showcase you that, or we can use a similar thing right from scratch. So here, VAPI interface, you already know most of the time. So what we did until here, we created these two tables, and I was trying to explain you assistant, tool. Assistant will anyway see the whole configuration, so we'll go there. But apart from that, we have tools. We got phone numbers over here, which can be configured from multiple sources. So currently it is supporting Twilio, OneEdge, Telnex, and even you can bring any of your own phone numbers with SIP trunking. It is not that straightforward, a little complex thing to do with your telephony provider. They give you certain codes, some other information, and then SIP trunking can be set up. So many people come and ask, can we have India-based phone numbers to make calls, or can we have Singapore-based phone numbers instead of a US-based phone number? So answer is yes, but it all depends upon the service provider and the SIP trunking. It's nothing but a bridge between the telephony provider and this particular platform, right? So that number can be used here. Or you can also go with any free phone number with your VAPI thing, right? So you can have phone numbers purchased from VAPI itself. In case if you have numbers, like one of the easiest way to get numbers from Twilio, you can put the phone number, Twilio SID, token, some sort of name to this phone number, and straightforward it can be enabled for any sort of calling purpose, inbound, outbound, both of them. So easiest, put your it's similar to like client ID, client secret, right? So same way, Twilio dashboard or main page itself has account SID and the account authentication token. Put it, and connection will be done between them. Now, apart from this, we got a full length voice library. So voice library has multiple providers as such. So you can go with VAPI, you can go with other providers like Rhyme AI. I'm not sure what their name is. Plenty of them are available. So 11 Labs by default, since we selected here, all of these voices are coming from 11 Labs, right? Now, along with this, you can also have, like, in case 11 Lab has multiple accent available, if I configured them, I can go with them and these many accent can be run through. Gender can be selected, male, female, natural, this, that, so on, right? So fairly many things are there. You can choose any one of them. Each one would have their cost as well, and over their latency as well. Latency, anyways, we're going to discuss into agent into the whole assistant configuration. But you can see here, the more complex the voice is, more latency it will have. And maybe if it is coming from a premium provider like 11 Lab, in that case it will also have some sort of costing. So almost all of these from 11 Lab is costing approximately 4 cent for a minute, right? If I go here, I'll go with VAPI, for example. It says only 2 cent, right? So half a cost and even half the latency as well, because they all are coming from VAPI. But the quality may vary, right? So you may have to just try to balance out. Same way, there is something called Cartesia and many more. OpenAI also has some voices. Just a cent and 800 milliseconds of latency. See, so almost half of the time this voice processing can take. So not recommended as such. Chalo, so let's get started. I think we are on right track until this point. And let me quickly show you one of the example of the costing part, how agents are being configured. I think I would have done that earlier in case of uh, like we created an AI agent in the HR role. So HR is supposed to call out people and then do this whole recruitment part, right? The first level of interview. But let's have a quick look again. So while we are configuring any agent, you can simply go here and say create assistant, right? So assistant, and every assistant can have their own name. It's kind of a basic AI agent only. So a title name of this, but they'll get recognized with the help of their specific ID. So if I go here, see, this is the ID given to each of these agents. You can simply copy this. It says copied assistant ID. So that's where you can have this ID, which will be used across all these API calls or wherever you are trying to configure this particular way. Right now, along with this, we can have a test, chat, code, maybe talk to assistant, published, couple of these basic things. And from here, it start the whole configuration of this AI agent, that too on the voice part. Now, you can see two things on this on the top head, right? One is called the cost, second is the latency. Now, in terms of cost, all of these different colors indicate the overall composition of the cost. So let's say this is going to cost approximately 22 cents every single minute of the agent is talking to someone. So essentially, the green is indicating how much VAPI cost. There is a standard VAPI cost for all this hosting, the whole server part, the whole voice capability part, like how agent recognize the voice, convert to text, text converted back to the voice, and then it speaks. So that whole facility is given to us for a 5 cent per minute. That's a basic cost. That's not going to go anywhere. It's a fixed cost in all the aspect, right? Second part is over here where we have DeepGram as a transcriber. So someone uh, whose services are being used to transcribe the other person's voice into text, so AI can understand this, and the AI text into the voice, so this particular VAPI agent can speak that particular thing, right? That particular words, what or the whole context which is being written by the AI. So here we are using DeepGram, and it's costing approximately 1 cent every single minute. Then obviously agent need a brain. So in this case, there is a high-powered brain applied to this. It's called GPT-4o, and it's costing approximately 14 cent per minute, right? So per minute of conversation, it's huge, right? And all along with this, what kind of accent, what kind of, let's say, male, female, those kind of voice category we are going to give it. So this is coming from VAPI, approximately 2 cent every single minute, right? So this is how the whole thing is being structured. Now, this particular agent will have a latency of 1000 milliseconds. That means whenever I say something, it's going to process that thing and will respond back to me. And this whole process will take approximately 1 second or the 1050 milliseconds, right? So every single second has 1000 milliseconds. And what contribute to it? So essentially, first of all, deepgram is there for the transcription part, which is going to cost 100 milliseconds. Then GPT-4o, obviously a little more complex, more logical model, and it all depends like what kind of use case is this, right? So in this case, GPT is like causing most delay, approximately half a second or 600 milliseconds. Then since we are using voices, so VAPI voice is having approximately 250 milliseconds of latency. And finally, this web version, because we currently selected this agent to work upon web, we can obviously go with Twilio, Vanage, all of these things. So they can accordingly like add more and more latency over there. So for example, if I add Twilio over here, let's say, see what happened? The Twilio cost also came in picture. This purple one. Now Twilio is costing approximately 1 or 1.5 cent for every minute of calling, right? From our US based number. And latency also got increased approximately 500 millisecond. Earlier it was 1050, now it is 1550. And see here, Twilio is causing approximately half a second of transportation delay. All along with this, all of these parameters can be fully controlled or fully configurable, except the platform, the hosting from VAPI, because that's where we are. We are working on the VAPI platform, so hosting cannot be changed, but all of these other variables can be changed. So let's start with the first one. Here we have model. And if I say, if I would like to explore these models, let's click on this. And they got models from multiple service provider because it is just a brain to this agent, and Vapi has no good friendship or let's say no good relationship with any one of these AI companies. So they give us plenty of choices. GPT is here. All along with this, if I say go with let's say Mistral, DeepSeek, Anthropic, it can go anywhere and choose any AI or any LLM and their respective models, right? So for example, here we are with the OpenAI. Within OpenAI, we get to see multiple models. So GPT 5.1 is there, but it has a higher latency of 1350 milliseconds and a cost of approximately 8 cent per minute. So if I choose, let's say this one, I'll say publish, escape and publish this one and see what happens. Now this even increased the whole voice latency to like the whole call latency approximately 2.3 seconds. Right, it's too much. So all depends which one to choose. Here they also suggest like what are the latest model, what kind of job they can do, as well as whether they are balanced, they are focused on a specific thing, and so on. So I think with our case, we can go with the 4.1 Nano, one of the good model, or we can go with Mini. So these two, among these two, we can choose any one of them, and they are costing hardly 1 cent or 2 cent per minute, lowest cost. If you go, let's say 4.1, which is the larger model, it's costing 11 cents, right? See here one more time. GPT-5 Nano has 1 cent cost, Mini got 2 cent, GPT-5 got 8 cents, and so on. So depend upon their configuration, depend upon their training, let's say capabilities or handling capabilities, they can cost accordingly. So 4.0 latest cluster is costing approximately 29 cent per minute, insanely high, right? But that's there. So you can choose whatever you want. Um, as I said earlier, you may have a question which one to choose because we are not sure like which model to go with. There are plenty of models available. Simple answer is always try to rely upon two things. What kind of complex or easy stuff this agent supposed to handle, right? And what latency you're expecting, right? It's going to be a balance of these two things. So for example, let's say O3 cluster is having higher reasoning capabilities, right? Versus has a balanced reasoning capabilities. Versus some nano model will not have even reasoning capability at all. They can simply respond to something which comes out with a basic or I would say bare minimal kind of intelligence, right? So all depends whether you are getting some complex stuff done or you are getting simple things, as well as what kind of latency you can expect. Is it like 1600 milliseconds is good? Your people who's talking to this agent are not looking for any fast responses. For example, someone is talking to a doctor or to a health practitioner. That person may think like doctor will think and respond to me. All fine. Versus if you're talking to a customer support agent, you may say, okay, can you please tell me quickly things back because he's doing the clerical stuff. So is it clerical or intellectual? Based upon that balancing, you can choose like what kind of audience, what kind of use case I'm going to fulfill with this particular agent and what the other person on the call will expect, right? So accordingly, a right combination can be chosen. See here, there is something called 4O real-time preview cluster, which is costing $2.29 per minute. It is insanely high. I'm not sure who used that, but it's very high cost. Right? So you can choose any one of them, whatever is required, and that's how it is going to balance out your overall costing or overall performance of the agent. Now, all apart from this, we have who's going to talk first. And that also depend upon whether it's an inbound call or an outbound call. So here we say like either agent is going to talk first, assistant is going to talk first, or agent speak first with a multimodal language message which is already being put in there, and he says hello, my name is this, and so on. So he says agent is going to speak first and says hi, I'm calling from Growwstacks, this is Maya, your health nurse assistant, and so on, right? So this whole message can be put in, but the other person had to wait to listen this whole message, right? And if it is a sales call or something like that, the person may even disconnect the call as well. So again, you have to choose it very carefully if you're making outbound calls. In case of inbound, this will be in more your control. Then here we have the entire prompt, almost similar to what we do with any other agentic capability, any other agentic platform, be it like your N10 agent, your other agents, it's going to be almost same. So this is where we have agent identity, what is their role, what is the key instruction, couple of things has to be followed, creating a language adaptation since it is talking into a healthcare field. It says listen, adapt, start with English, maintain consistency, natural context, mixing, and so on. Trust the model. So whatever is being coming from this multilingual model, it's supposed to be run through this. Then dynamic date and time. If you guys remember, I shown you a couple of examples in N10. If you see, if you rely upon or if you give the entire dependency upon the LLM, I told you earlier, these LLM would have trained with very long back data. Let's say last trained was 2023 or 2024 and so on. And when we say, for example, I need to book an event tomorrow, it doesn't know what is tomorrow because it doesn't know what is today. So what it could do, it'll go into its knowledge base and will try to figure out what is the latest date available. And most of time, most of these programs are or these LLMs are trained until 2024 data. That's to, I think, specifically May 24 kind of a data. So if you say, I want to book a appointment tomorrow, it may think it will be tomorrow means 20th of May 2024, unless until we provide it what is today's date, right? So here we have to define the current date and timestamp, or what is today's date, what is the current hour. These are very much important. Otherwise, the agent may hallucinate and it may pick up the wrong date. So they don't have context to the current date and time window. That's important. Then we can provide any sort of conversation flow, some sort of framework, all depends upon what kind of things you're coming up with. um, Again, we also have to train it in terms of how to handle human emotions or the human interaction, right? So some sort of empathic greetings, or politely close the call, end the call. If you don't know something, tell the other person. If you're facing a glitch, say it clearly. If the customer is angry or their tone is not good, how to handle that. So all those situations we can configure over here, how to like work around or how to talk to the other person in each of these different situations. Now, one important thing, um, see, since it is directly interacting with human emotions, it becomes super, super important. You should be able to handle it more proficiently. For example, as I said, like someone is angry or shouting, then since VAPI has this voice recognition capabilities, it's not just a speech to text converter, right? It also recognizes the sound wavelength or those kind of things. So it may recognize that customer's mood or the other person's mood, their whole way to say things, and then it can handle things accordingly. So your prompting will be the most important part over here. How seamless or how realistic this agent is going to work, because many people complain that we built an agent but it doesn't talk like a human. The simple reason is you did not prompted it properly, or you did not give it instruction properly, and that's why it is not giving you feel like human, right? So that's a fair straight thing. Now, in terms of the language part, I think someone asked on the at the start, can it adapt to multiple languages? So answer is yes. And at the same time, we can control it with the prompt as well. So we said here, adapt to the user language immediately. So first it's going with English plain language. But in case if the person start talking in Hindi, or let's say English or English Hindi mix kind of, right? So person may say like आपका पूरा नाम क्या है, या फिर symptoms के बारे में बात करना चाहते हैं, and so on. So it can immediately adapt to the Hindi language, and obviously Hindi natural language, right? So Hindi mixed with English words. So that's there. Then if it is in Spanish, we can ask it go with Spanish, and so on. Again, this is something depend upon what kind of audience you are expecting. So are you expecting multiple different languages speaking people, let's say German, Spanish, French, everything all coming together on one single line? Or are you expecting maybe one language kind of people on one particular phone line, right? All depends upon your audiences as well, right? Then in that case, we have also provided like how the conversion is supposed to go. A couple of examples, exactly similar how we did with any other AI agent. We have to provide them examples to make them more ready with real life situations. And further down, we could have a sequence how agents supposed to work, like step one, step two, step three, four, and it stringently follow each of these steps. Finally, in case of the overall data management, see what these agents are doing. They interact with someone and collect some data, and data is supposed to go into some systems for decision making, for some record update and all. So that data is supposed to have some good format structure as well. So here we say, if you're collecting this whole data, the format should come like this. So the patient information goes here, symptom goes here into a proper array kind of a structure. See, array is starting here, collection one, collection two, and so on. So this is how a full length, um, how would I say, the voice agent can be built. It is having even more prompting, more let's say specification required, because it is more realistic towards human, like not just an textual agent, not just a generative agent which could do some mistake and we can ignore or avoid. This is a more humanized version of the agents, right? So would require more and more better prompting. I created a short prompting guide as well, based upon our best practices, so you can refer that. But essentially this is how the whole prompt should look like, and it can be as elaborative as possible. It's not going to do any lag on your overall speed or something. uh, Small lag, maybe a couple of milliseconds can be added here and there, that's fine. But essentially, the more better prompt, the more agent control the agent will have on the entire let's say interaction or conversation with the real human. Done. Now, along with this, as we discussed earlier, we can have files, and those files can be associated as the knowledge base. So for example, if I want to associate a restaurant menu, I can upload into file section and that can come over here. So now agent will have a handy reference to this particular file document, and these can be multiple of them. So you can have multiple menus over here, and then the agent can talk accordingly. So a handy knowledge base, it doesn't have to do any tool call, no need to go to any HTTP webhook here and there. If it is a static data, it can run through things like this. But if it is not a static data, if it is a dynamic data like this, for example, my policy is getting expired tomorrow, right? Or maybe today. And if the agent is going to call tomorrow, the status is supposed to be expired, right? Not active. So in this case, it may have to make a tool call and get the right data from the other system, right? So tool calls are there, static knowledge base can be here, and multiple different type of files can be associated. So here you see we have PDF files, we got text file. It can be not the image file as such, but even the document files can also be there. Spreadsheets can be attached. So multiple file structure. Now, in terms of a couple of more settings, so max tokens, you can have here like what is the max number of tokens the agent is allowed to generate or consume in each turn of the conversation. Turn means when the agent speak and the other person speaks, right? So when agent turns comes, how many max token this can use? If we limit it, it's going to blur the context. So 250 is by default limit over here. You can even remove this, or you can have, let's say, 2500. It doesn't make any difference, but essentially it is going to improve the overall quality of the context or the response, right? So if you're selecting a lower model, you can always go with like 4.1 mini is there. You can always go with larger context or larger token window, right? Along with this, you can set temperature. You already know So it's more randomness in the output. Instead of following a very stringent prompt or stringent requirement, it can also add things from its own, let's say, thought process, right? Now, further down to this, we have voice configuration I shown you earlier. So we have plenty of voices, let's say different providers. Let's say I'll go with 11 labs and we got to see multiple voices. I can choose any one of them and then I can add a voice ID, or if it is not there, or then otherwise I can simply select any one of them and it can figure out. Within 11 labs, just for example, there are plenty of models available. So 11 lab got 11 lab multilingual version 2, turbo, flash, and so on. Similar way, if you go with something else, let's say within VAPI itself, you get to see multiple voices coming out from here. Elliot is here. Maybe Terra. Choose any one of them and add configurations. Background sound. If you want, while agent is let's say talking, should it sound like into a natural environment? Actually, human is talking from the other side. So we can say, yes, we want a normal default sound, some sort of elements moving here and there, some telephone rings or someone opening a door or some footsteps and all. Those sounds can be included. Office environment, custom environment, all of these things you can bring in and it can work like a background sound. Now, all along with this, punctuation boundaries are there. So let's say, I'm not sure, I never worked with this, but if it goes with a chunk, maybe exclamation mark, these kind of things, full stops, they can be added, but never worked on them as such. I'm not very sure. We'll have to do a couple of testing. In terms of transcriber, it's again a service. We saw deepgram at the start. So when agent is going to work with the other person's voice, it has to convert that into text to pass it to the LLM, right, to the brain. So this thing, there are multiple providers of these transcriber as well. So you know already, like OpenAI is there, which has something called OpenAI Whisper. Then Google also got their own transcribers. Same way, Assembly AI and so on, right? So we can go with any one of them. DeepGram is one of them, which is a native integration within VAPI, and it is quite low cost as such. So we can go with this. There are plenty of models available within this. So you can have like different specific model for specific languages, a specific terminology, as well as multilingual model altogether, right? Again, background noise or denoising can be done with the help of this whole transcriber. So in case if there is a disturbing noise coming in, it can also denoise and move only the pure audio to the transcription mode. Okay, now here comes the important part, very, very important, the execution capabilities of this agent, which is called tools, right? And tools are into two forms I shown you earlier. So we have inbuilt integration within VAPI, or we can use MCP tool, we can use API call tool, or we can use custom tools. So whatever integrations you have done so far within VAPI, you can get to see all of them. Even Make is one of the tool over here. And even Google Calendar is a tool available as a native integration. But in case if you are creating something of your own, then you can go book a table. You can give it any name. I'll show you how to configure tools as well with a basic webhook, but that's there. So we get to see multiple of these tools right available, and we can associate them into our AI agent, right? So tools are common across multiple agents. Once we create one tool, it can be used to multiple agents as per their requirements. And these tools supposed to be mentioned into the prompt. So if I go here, let me try to show you this. Let's say we started this call and we said you are Maya, you are doing this, you are supporting English, Hindi, French, and Spanish and more, handling inbound call for a particular hospital. And then further down, instructions are here. See, respond to the same language the user speaks. This answers your question over here. Multi-language model is enabled. This is fine. Let me show you the tool mentioning where to call a particular tool. So it says, hello, thank you for calling this clinic. After the opening statement, immediately watch for match the user response language. That's there. And further down, once they are into conversation, it's supposed to call a particular tool. Intent medical assessment. This is fine. Let me see where we mentioned the tool. See, so technical integration flow. It says VAPI call once the call gets started. checking symptom function with symptom parameter plus the patient information. So when it is making this particular tool call, which called checking symptoms, it's supposed to send two informations. One is the symptom parameter and the patient information. And this tool may have some sort of webhook associated on some external system. Some other AI is going to work upon it. And then AI will respond back and say, okay, here are the symptoms, or here are the, let's say, some sort of disease this person is getting in, and so on. So depend upon like what AI respond back to this guy. But essentially, this is how tool calls are working. We'll configure tool call as well. I'll showcase you properly how to do that, how to even structure each of these tool calls, their data in and out both. So essentially, tool calls can be selected and can be mentioned on how they are supposed to be working or used by this particular AI agent, right? Now, further down to this, we have a couple of predefined functions which says enable end call functions. So agent can even end call from its own side. And for this purpose, we may have to give some instruction to agent that if the person is talking vague or not relevant, or in some cases, let's say if the whole conversation is not making any sense, maybe not relevant to our topic, or if the person is on silence, then in such cases, agent can disable or like simply end this call from the VAPI side, from our business side, not waiting for other persons to put this call off, right? Because every single minute, every single second is costing us some money. So we can't like keep it laying on and without having any conversation. Then further down, we can have some sort of dial keypad functions. So whether assistant can dial certain things on keypad. This happens when assistant can reach out on any what it called, IVR line, not IVR actually. It's called a PBX line or something like this. So press one for this person, press two for this, press three for this, and so on. Like how many offices have press one for reception, press two for management, and so on. So can agent hear that and press that particular button? So accordingly, the other system can route it to the right way, right? So this functionality is already here. Then there is something called a forwarding phone number, where if we are saying on a given situation, agent supposed to forward this call to a specialist, to a human, or to some other team member, then we can allocate a phone number for that person and the agent can forward this call. Obviously, there can be some latency, some delay, and we should say that, okay, I'm forwarding this call to, let's say, someone in the support, a human who's going to take your call, and so on, or other team member, and so, right? So that's there. Now, this is exactly similar to tools, something called custom functions, but now it got converted into custom tools, right? So it's no longer used as such. Then further down, we have summaries. So in case if you wanted this whole agent to summarize your call into a short stuff, by default it does anyways, but still, if you have any specific instruction, it can get you the whole call transcript into a summarized format, right? So summary anyway is going to come, but it can have your own predefined structure. Then summary request, these are be like pretty basic things, predefined configuration. We don't have to touch upon them. Success evaluation, this is something important to give feedback to the agent. See, for example, this agent is taking a inbound support call, and the agent may not be able to even understand what the user is trying to say, right? Or it may not be able to make the right tool calls, or agent fail to, let's say, satisfy the other person's need. Whatever he's asking is not able to respond to it, right? In such cases, who will do a check, the quality check, right? And since there are plenty of phone calls happening, we cannot put a human to review all these calls and then figure out like which call was sorted, which is not sorted. So what they did, they have a inbuilt success evaluation criteria. And here you can say, I'll consider a call successful if certain things are achieved from this call. So for example, if I was able to, let's say, find out a policy from this insurance claim agent, or the claim was successfully logged, right? Or maybe a customer support agent was successfully able to resolve someone's query, and the person said at the end, thank you very much, my issue is resolved, right? So in such cases, I would say it is resolved. If there is any technical issue, if agent couldn't configure or figure out certain details, or if for any reason agent couldn't work out on, let's say, the final outcome, then I'll consider that call as a failed call, right? So this becomes a self learning or self feedback loop for this whole agentic stuff, and we can determine those criterias over here. what to be considered as a successful call, and when and what parameter are going to be reliable for this. Now, in this case, is it only successful or failed, or can we put more metrics? So in this case, we can have multiple metrics over here, or rubrics, you can say in a simple language. So it's called, we can give it some values on a number scale, how successful this call was. And I can define, let's say, 1 point for each of the criteria, or 2 point for each of the criteria. And it can evaluate whether out of 10, it was 70%, like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 2 out of 10, right? It can be on a descriptive scale as well, excellent, good, fair, poor. It can be a checklist of multiple criterias, like, okay, these things are done, these things got left, right? So multiple stuff can go. See here, plenty of different pass fail is there, automatic rubric is there, uh, agree, disagree, strongly agree, disagree, and so on. You know already, right? So multiple such parameters can be put in for the agent to evaluate itself, and we can also get a report over here. If you check out this part, it says metrics, right? And the evals. So metrics and evals can help us to get this whole data into the one single view, where we could visualize this entire thing, right? Then further down, are we expecting any structured data out of this whole conversation? Like, if you remember, we said at the top of this, get us data into this format, required data for the AI analysis into this structure, right? So since it was a inbuilt tool level configuration or tool level instruction, we did not put it there. But we can even say, once the call is completed, I want the entire data into this kind of a structure, because I know like what this call was about, right? So then once it is going to process the whole transcript, it will even process data into a predefined format and send us that into a well-structured JSON, or maybe some sort of a XML, CSV, or something like this, right? So structured data can come out from the system itself. We don't have to do any additional third-party LLM or third-party automation workflows. Now, in terms of privacy, uh, I think some people asked me earlier, like, is it compliant with some regulations and all, right? So essentially, see here a few things. First of all, HIPAA compliances, which is a very stringent compliance in US about health record management. And over here, if you say HIPAA is applied, in that case, you cannot log any of these conversation. You don't carry the recording, transcript, anything, right? So it says, if you want, you can record or you can log it somewhere, but VAPI is not going to handle that data at all. As soon as the call gets over, it's gone, right? It can transmit the data to you and say, okay, this is what everything was being spoken about. But essentially, you can store it somewhere else from a third-party API or something. But VAPI will not have any data being stored on their servers, right? So HIPAA is that kind of a compliance, and you can even read more about this, let's say, overrides, or how to have individual settings and all. Then second is about audio recording. You can also disable the audio recordings. By default, it does. You have always this turned on, toggled on by default from the VAPI side. But in case if you don't want it, you can disable this. So it will not going to have any of these conversation being recorded. Then further down, are we going to log this entire call? Log means it's not just like you dialed and how much time someone spoke. During the whole agentic call, it does multiple tool call as well. So there is whole interaction happening with the backend systems, right? So even those conversation, those tool call, those data exchanges also being logged inside VAPI. So do you want to keep your data within VAPI? Yes or no? Let's say if someone says my policy number is POL 1001, right? So the tool will get a response, the entire information about this particular policy. So should I keep it over there with VAPI or not, right? That is something we can decide here itself. Then obviously transcript is there, audio recording format we can choose, whether it's MP3, WAV format, or something like this. And we have video recording. I never tried this, by the way, but it says like VAPI can even join web calls. So if it is the case, will it going to record this call with video or only the audio? Now, something more interesting, and believe me, it's a very lengthy process to make one good voice AI agent. You can build it, let's say, a basic working agent, and you will again get the complaint that, okay, it doesn't sound human, not human, and so on. But you have to configure so many elements in a very precise, very right manner to make it realistic and human kind of a sounding thing. as well as the thought process and responses. So here is something more important, which says start speaking plan. And when your AI agent supposed to speak, right? So a few things. First of all, as I said, like VAPI itself has a higher capability to process things. Maybe let's say not even a second, it can process things in 800 milliseconds or 500 milliseconds. Combine together all the component, for example, which is half a second. So as soon as I complete something, should agent immediately respond back to me, like just force something back to me, right? I'll say hello, it says hello, right? Instead, should it sound like a human and will wait for some time, let's say half a second, 0.75 second, for a second, and say how we say, if Prabhat is calling me, I'll say hello, hi Manish. I am going to respond to him, hi Prabhat, how are you, right? So it is that kind of a way. uh, how much it should wait, even though it generated response, is going to pause and then speak, more human sounding, right? Then something about, let's say, uh, I'm not very sure what we never used it, but it's called smart endpointing. It says enable for accurate speech endpointing detection. So, for example, if we can define those some things, right? There was a dot at the start, exclamation mark, and other stuff. So, if we are defining how the other person talks in general on those languages, then accordingly we can define like where this person ended and where we should start and end our conversation, or how to end each of these emotions as well, right? Exclamation or surprise or those kind of things in the whole punctuation. Then punctuation seconds are there. So minimum second to wait after the transcript gets ended. No punctuation second. No, I think on number of seconds minimum wait for the transcript to end. So couple of configurations over here, never used or never touched them. I personally did not do that. But max is 3 second, less is like almost 0 seconds. You can configure any one of them as per your own requirement. But again, to make it more humanistic or more, let's say, conversation friendly. Then something, another important feature, it's called voicemail detection. If it doesn't recognize, it may cost you really bad, right? Sometime, if you're making any outbound sales call, and for any reason this agent landed to a voicemail system, right? And that system says, okay, after a particular number of rings, the voicemail will get activated and will say, record a message after a beep or something. If this agent doesn't recognize it was a voicemail, it can keep on talking its own agenda, and it may waste 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, right? Just waiting for the user and so on. So they gave it a voicemail detection AI, and most of the time, voicemails generally have a standard messaging stuff, so it can easily recognize based upon any different AI available over here, right? So we can simply configure. It may have very little cost, but it's an additional thing. Then when to stop speaking, after every conversation, at the same time, after a particular point in time when the agent supposed to stop speaking, right? So how many for example, agent is talking, let's say, hi, I'm calling from Growwstacks, welcome to this, and in between the customer says hello, right? Then should agent break its conversation, its sentence, and just stop it there? Or should it continue and at least complete his sentence, the agent side sentence, and then will respond to the user input, right? So it says the number of words the customer says, customer, before the agent will stop talking. So I said zero, because I don't want agent to get interrupted abruptly, where the person says something, maybe there is a background noise or something like that. Agent will keep on pausing in middle, right? It will not be able to complete his sentences. So I said, okay, let agent speak completely his part, and then let allow other person to talk, right? And then in terms of voice seconds, so like whether customer has to speak, okay, wait, stop, right? Something like this. Let me tell something about myself. So then how much time the customer will keep on talking to interrupt the agent, and then the agent will say, okay, please go ahead, right? So this kind of interruption can be done. So based upon number of words, based upon number of sentences, or the whole time, the human or the other side person can interrupt the agent to make it stop talking, right? Then there's something called like back off seconds. Again, never configure like mainly configure these two part. The second wait before assistant will start talking again after being interrupted. So if the other person doesn't say much, then agent can again talk one more time after 1 minute, after 1 second. This is about when to end this call. many a time people don't talk, or let's say people stop responding to something. Maybe there is a network issue, maybe the other person is not interested, or he's just putting phone aside or something like this, right? Or maybe the other person thought like call is already ended, right? So whether agent should carry on this call, or he should end this call after a particular point in time, or after a particular inactivity. Why it is important? Because it's again costing us every single time, every single second is costing us some money, right? Number one. And second is, in case if you have one agent, let's say running through a campaign, and there are, let's say, 10 concurrent lines are being allocated to this particular phone trillion or something, then agent can make 10 calls at the same time, or maybe 5 calls at the same time. If your one line get interrupted like this, then it cannot make the other call, the subsequent calls, right? And every single call will just keep on adding or mounting the cost. So in this case, we can have two configurations over here. Number one is, can agent end call from its own side after having a particular time of inactivity? So by default, it says like 30 seconds. We can always configure it to 10 second, 1 second, 2 second. Not recommended less than 10 second, because there may be interruption, like the customer says, okay, let me see where is my policy number, for example, here. And the customer starts searching his policy. But by the time, within 30 seconds, the call get disconnected, or 10 seconds, call get disconnected. Not a good practice, right? So in this case, we should have some ideal setting over here. At the same time, one more thing, very, very important. Some people may talk to this agent so much, and you don't have control. You may say like, one call can end up to, let's say, 30 minutes. One person is keep on talking to it, multiple, let's say, multiple questions, relevant, irrelevant, and so on. Now, that is also going to mount my cost a lot. So in such cases, we can say what is the maximum duration of this call? Will it be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and so on? And after that, the call will get disconnected automatically. So let's say I'm good to put maximum $1 per call, or let's say uh, maybe $5 per call, right? So I can define accordingly how much time I can allow this agent to talk to this person. And obviously, before the call gets over, the agent can say, okay, and see, all of these settings are already known by the agent. They are all configured within VAPI. So as soon as the time comes to, let's say, 10 minutes, over here, let's say 600 seconds, it can say, okay, our time is getting over. This call was restricted to 10 minutes or 600 seconds. We are moving closer to it. So I'll have to disconnect this call from my side. Let's connect on another call, or maybe something like this, right? So agent should be able to handle this thing as well. And they are by default configurations available over here. We can obviously restructure based upon our own use cases. So you should always focus upon this, but this 30 second is fine in most of the cases. Then further down, as we discussed earlier, uh, can the other person enter any detail via a keypad? Press 1, 2, 3, 4 to reach out to this department, that department, or something like this, or for rating, feedback. Yes, that can be done. And here, if we allow it, we have to configure this thing into prompt, and we'll say the user supposed to uh, put certain things, let's say some sort of input, right? We may ask him to type your policy number. If it is only numeric value, type your policy number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So they can just type on keypad. And we can even say before typing, or maybe followed by a hash, starting with a hash or something like this, like how we do when we're calling any banking sites, right? So they say enter your 16-digit card number followed by a hash, right? So it can differentiate where this hash was done. So what is the value of the input and the other things. So that's how delimiters can be put in over here. So it can be star, it can be hash, because these two are the key on our keypad. And apart from this, we can get any sort of values into the system. Now, in terms of messaging, this is again one of the way we can bring the VAPI agent data to our uh, third party system. Let's say any webhook, N10, make.com, any other system which has data receiving capabilities or API receiving capabilities. So what it says, while talking to or while having this whole call, or even after the call, can agent in like have a conversation or have a data exchange? I'm not talking about tools, by the way. This is the data which VAPI is supposed to send to the other, let's say, a system, make or N10 or something like this. So Can these messages be being engaged or being interacted with the third party system? The answer is yes. We can put a server URL over here, and this always supposed to be a webhook URL because we are going to catch data over there on the other side. So we can configure a webhook URL to this one. We'll say if our server is not going to respond between 20 seconds, we can time out this. It's a standard thing. We can also add some sort of a credentials. So while we're talking to this third party system, either we can go directly with any of these interactions, or we can have this webhook URL. And along with this, in case if you're trying to put any authentication, we can put authentications as well. Some sort of a, not API key, but some sort of authentication token. So we know that the data is coming from a valid VAPI automation workflow, VAPI messaging service, right? Now, all over here, it's almost like a HTTP call being created. So we can put headers and we can define what kind of message data we are trying to send to this agent. Now, why this is important? See, there are plenty of different type of data is available. And again, I'm telling you, these are not tool calls. Tool calls were something else to execute things. This is way different inbuilt configuration of VAPI itself. So it says, do you want to send any conversation update? For example, I collected, let's say, if it is a travel agent, for example, and it says, where do you want to go for a trip? Someone says, I want to go for, let's say, Germany or London or somewhere else, right? New York. Now, after this conversation, I'll say, send this data to my third party webhook, or via messaging, send this data to my server, right? So only those two lines of conversation can be sent to the particular messaging platform or to the webhook, right? Then if it is a function call, so when we say make a function call, that function call can be a messaging part which carry all the transcript so far, whatever interaction happened, and send it to the third party webhook. When someone hang the phone, or let's say the call gets over, that can be sent. Metadata can be sent. Then model output, in case if any of these inbuilt models are here within VAPI, where we say, let's say, um, process something into a particular JSON structure, and during the call, send the data to a particular webhook. That can be done, right? Even transcript can be sent in middle itself. If there is a status update, there is a speech update, there is a tool calls, all of these things can be sent towards a particular server, and that data can be captured and run through. Even here, we get to see even server level message as well. There is something called end of the call report. So when the call gets over, do you want to have a complete call report, including success metrics, including all your, let's say, transcript, summary, all the dialogues, all the recording URL, everything goes on to that particular server. So plenty of different things are already available. Voice things, chat is being created, session created, updated, deleted, and so on. All of this data, which are existed inside VAPI, even transfer updates are available over here, can be sent to the particular server using this API or webhook call, right? So these things are available. Then in case if it reaches to voicemail, what kind of response it should leave there? So it says like, please call me back when you're available. It can be something else, like I called you for this purpose, and so on, right? End message, we can configure an end message as well. If it is like user is not responding for a certain time, if it is an idle call, no conversation happening, then first of all, how long it is going to wait for it, and second is what kind of message we can configure here. So it may say like a couple of times, are you there, are you still there, are you interested, how can I assist you further, feel free to ask any questions, and so on. Then all along with this, max idle messages, how many should we repeat? One, two, three, four, right? Up to 10. It can keep on saying, hey, are you there? Wait for again 2 3 seconds. Again ask, hey, are you still there? And so on. And what is the idle timeout between the messages? Right. So first time it can wait until 7.5 seconds, 10 seconds, 20 seconds. You can configure anything over here and say, let agent wait for the other person to speak, or keep on reminding him that our call is still on and you have to respond to me. So this is how we can have this configuration. Then recording consent, if in case we are trying user to control this, like if you saw earlier at the top, we can control from our side the whole configuration of the privacy or the data. And by default, we can say like this call should be recorded or not recorded, audio recording, video recording. But if you want to allow this control to the user, right, in that case, we have to have some sort of an enterprise plan where users can control whether they want this thing to be recorded or not recorded. And accordingly, the agent can say, okay, stop recording, continue recording, or how to handle this data. And again, like in such cases, obviously, why it is enterprise plan? Because most of time, the large enterprises who are making maybe hundreds of call or thousands of call every single day, they would want these kind of features, right? Otherwise, small businesses here and there, they can control things from their own side. So essentially, it's part of the enterprise thing. Finally, there's something called a widget. Widget is nothing but we can configure the VAPI voice agent or VAPI chat agent on our browser or on our website as well. This is also something we are going to look at how this whole configuration works. And you can put that widget into your own website. People can come, click on there, and they can even start talking on the web page itself instead of waiting for a call or connect on a phone call, right? So this assistance can be put in on the web pages as well. And at last, we have active structured output. Again, mostly we haven't worked on this. What we are working so far is the output data which is coming out in a predefined format. Something over here which is structured data, this one. So we can define a particular structure and we can get data over here. They are almost similar, but in case if you're looking for any predefined specific JSON, you can put JSON structure here as well. And this particular JSON can be followed all the time. So there are two ways. One is on the top one, you have to configure a JSON structure. Here you can have one time configured and it can be added like a tool call. It can be added everywhere else to all of the subsequent agents. One important thing over here, VAPI has, obviously you all know, VAPI is more about the voice calling, right? Or voice AI agent. But at the same time, their AI agent can work upon chat as well, right? So see here, there is something called talk to assistant and there's something called chat next to it, right? At the top. So even I can chat with this assistant over here. If I'll say chat, it started like this. And obviously it will not mimic the call like how we talk on calls, but it's a simple chat bot. So while talking to any of these, or let's say testing any of these voice AI agents, I would always go, instead of wasting my credits or wasting my good money on talking and again trying to figure out whether tool calls are happening, whether the conversation flow is in right direction or not, I would always go with chat first and we'll try to figure out things are working out or not. So let's say if I go here, says hello, thank you for calling this. This is Maya. What brings you? Call us today. Hey, I'll say I'm not feeling well. Now it may keep on talking to me based upon the entire prompt and everything. May I know your full name and address? This I'll say Manisham. And based upon his tool call, everything. What's your age? I'll say 29. It's a male. By the way, all of these things the agent's supposed to ask me on a live phone call, right? But that's not happening. It is actually taking things for the testing purpose, things over here. So this is what we have in terms of this whole configuration of this AI. So the first part, let's get in here. And what we can do, we can start with a new fresh agent, which is called the insurance claim agent. And over here, I'll go with a blank template. By the way, there are a couple of templates already available, like customer support, lead qualification, info collector, and all. But I would not recommend to go with them. They are built for any specific scenario use case kind of a thing and may not be that comprehensive. And ultimately, you may have to do multiple, let's say, corrections here and there. So instead, better to build something from scratch, which is of your own, right? So let's get started. I'll say create agent or create assistant. And here we have something called insurance claim agent. Now we have to configure it. So a couple of basic configurations are fine. We have the OpenAI, we have GPT-4o cluster, which is quite a good model for us to work. Alongside this, we have to configure who's going to talk first, what is the first message, and the whole system prompt, right? So these are some super important things, at least the prompt part, which help us to define the direction and all the minute handling of the entire conversation to this agent. So for example, if I go here and I'll say maybe to Claude or something that I would like to create a complete agent level prompt, right? So Claude can do much better job as compared to GPT. So I'll always prefer that, like, I describe all of my conditions, entire scenario, all these steps, and then Claude's supposed to get me a good prompt. I can read it, maybe modify it a few times, and I get a better version. So always try to have or take AI's help. Also tell it like which tool you're using. So let's say you're creating this prompt for VAPI, for anything kind of AI agent, or for some other AI agent platform. Always good to start with the requirement, with the system architecture, with the tech infrastructure, and what kind of condition and the final outcome you're expecting from this whole system, right? So now what I did, actually, I got a prompt created for this entire thing. I'll not waste a good amount of time here. Let me try to show you something which is parked on a document. See here. So this is like a prompt which I already created for this entire stuff. And along with this, I would also like to quickly showcase you. Okay, give me one sec, guys. Let's zoom in. Perfect. See here. So now what is that? It says it's a professional auto claim assistant on the VAPI. And that too, like, I optimized it a few times because it doesn't work directly on one go as straightforward, right? And you have to obviously test it multiple times. I'll also show you how to test these agents on VAPI, like through a normal chat window as well. So over here, what we say, you're a professional empathetic assistant for this particular company called HDFC Agro. And then your role is to help customer file auto insurance claim only, right? It's not just about filing insurance claim, because some person can come and say, okay, I want to file a health insurance claim or maybe a life insurance claim or something else. Not like that. It's supposed to only handle these kind of things. Or you can define what all things it can pick up. All along with this, we have, let's say, obviously, a couple of human care kind of things. So general care, understanding of the other person's issue. Then I shown you yesterday, the AI doesn't know the latest date and time or those kind of things. So in this case, we have to always provide them the now variables. Now variables like what is the date and time today, or what is the time at this point now, right? And along with this, WAPI got a variable structure as well. So where you can say now, which is the current date and time, and that too, it can be formatted into a well-defined structure, right? So what is the year, month, date? This A and B, that is called the day name and the month name, right? So it may say, let's say September 29, or let's say Wednesday, September 29, 2025, right? Then the hours, minutes, and the AM, PM. And obviously, along with this, there is a US Central Time Zone. It can be India, Kolkata, Asia, Kolkata, and so on. And then even it says now is a date, and AM, PM also be included. And over here, we can put some time zone altogether, right? Then further down, we should define like what is the critical flow. So obviously, agent supposed to read this. Step one, it should ask for the policy number, right? What is your policy number? Or can you tell me, let's say, if you have policy ID or something, which agent supposed to check inside our policy database? Like whatever we created over here, this one supposed to be checked at the first instance. So first of all, it should have a sequence, a communication part where it says, hello, my name is Manish. I'm calling, like you reached out to HDFC Agro Auto Insurance Claims, and I can assist you with this. Can you help me with your policy number, right? That is always going to be the first level step. And if it is a valid policy, then only it's supposed to call this policy tool and try to fetch the policy information from this particular policy table, right? So whenever we define tools which do interaction with the external systems, they are defined into these kind of two curly braces, right? And with different platforms, this can vary a little bit here and there. So somewhere we can directly put the variable name. In some places, we have to put these two curly braces to differentiate it's a variable, right? Variable means it's a specific thing has to be done on the tool side. Then there is a quick thing defined over here. So stop and check the policy validity. Super important, because as soon as you get the policy details, it should know whether it's an auto policy or it's a different policy type, right? Number one. Second is whether the policy is active or it is not active. Third is whether policy start date and date falls between the claim period or not. So for example, policy would have expired already, maybe 10 days ago, and someone is trying to file a claim now, just before 2 days. I met accident yesterday, something like this. Then in that case, it should match that whether policy has coverage of this claim or not, right? If these three things are checked, then only it should allow and pass to the next step. Otherwise, it should say, okay, your policy is not valid and I should stop here. I can help you to transfer this call to a human agent or maybe a renewal desk or someone else which can help you better, but not with the claim, right? That has nothing to do with claims. Then further down, like as I said, collect incident date and all. But in case if the policy is not right, or let's say the claim details are not right, let's say for example, incident date is in a future date. I'll say I met an accident tomorrow, right? Or I met an accident on 5th of December 2026 or 25. In that case, it should say, are you sure what you're saying, right? And like this doesn't fall, let's say, within my common conditions, or it's a future date, or things like this, right? So it should intelligently handle such nuisance as well while trying to validate the claim information as well as the policy information, right? Further down, if the claim dates or other things are also good, then it should further go and try to gather more and more information. Once it has all the information, whatever required, then it should do a claim creation call or a tool, and then it should run through the post call inside Airtable. This claim detail goes here. It's going to return the claim ID, and then obviously a couple of details about like who's going to handle his claim, right? So the person who assigned as a insurer, as a surveyor, and so on, their detail will go back, and the person will be notified that your claim is being created successfully. This is a claim ID. This is the person assigned to your particular claim, and so on, right? So this is where we should define how the whole structure or the flow chart is going to work. And this is a decision flow. So what you say, wherever we have cross marks, like if this condition you met something like this, it's not an auto type policy. Stop there itself, right? So you must stop at each of these cross. Do not continue filing the claim, right? So these are hard stops. Agent should not take any of its own judgment. It's supposed to stop over here itself, right? So these are like, this is how we can define hard-coded conditions or specific strict rules, and even reaffirm them multiple times. So it remember, like, should not lose the context after a certain point of time, because prompts can be quite long. Now, all along with this, how this agent has its own personality. So obviously, a couple of humanistic thing again, dealing with stressful customer situations, warm, empathetic, this, that, it's all fine. Communication guideline also can be pretty straightforward over here. So a couple of etiquettes we can teach him, like, I'm sorry to hear about that. Warmly welcome customers, introduce yourself. So other things very straight. What not to do, couple of other let's say negative can also be prevented. So do not rush the conversation, do not ask multiple questions in one single go, and so other things, right? So mostly they can be handled by the VAPI's intelligence, as well as with the double verification of these kind of prompt-based instructions. Then further down, as we said earlier, in terms of the whole process, step 1, 2, 3, 4, here we are reaffirming each of these steps into a more detailed way, right? So what to do when you get into that particular step, right? So in terms of, let's say, it should handle only the auto claims. Now, if someone says like, I'm going to go for a property claim or something like this, health insurance claim, it's supposed to say, it's not my part. I'm going to transfer this call, or then use a particular transfer call tool with a department called health claim, or with a department called property claims, and so on, right? Then life insurance claims can also go here. General policy questions can, like, not related to auto claims, can also be ignored and can be passed to a particular customer line, right? Then eligibility determinations. So these are again and again more in-depth instruction or way of working for this particular agent. And this is how we can define tools. So I hope you got a good sense of how to structure the prompt. And obviously AI can help you to do it in a much, much better way, right? So, and one more thing, see, if you're going unprepared, for example, you're trying to solve a use case with the help of AI at the first instance without applying any mind, in that case, there are challenges that you may have to do multiple iterations to improve this prompt. Versus if you go prepared, you know the use case, you know all the bottlenecks, you know all the pitfalls, then in that case, you may list down all the points, ask AI to include them on first go in the prompt side. And once that's there, then you can say, okay, now my prompt can come at least 80-90% accurate. I may just have to do 1 to 2 iterations, not more than that. But essentially, it should be in this kind of a depth, because it's a live call, and it's a sophisticated agent which working or talking to any humans as such, right? So greeting verification, after verifying policy number, do this, that, so many things, right? So check even further down, see here. So policy type, then policy status, then wait for customer response. It is correct, not correct, and so other things. Everything is further defined into multiple more steps, right? Further down, one more time, we have critical stop gates on the step number 1 goes like this. So before doing any collecting information, you should check automobile, active, start and date, and then say thank you. I'm going to pull your details from the system. But essentially, more on the prompting side. Same way, claim creation, the third step, you should follow certain things over here. Closing is the fourth step. Use couple of tools. So here is the guidance: tool number one, tool number two, tool number three. So transfer call, create claim, verify policy, right? Then for the in case of it goes into any loop, that also has to be prevented. So see, what is this? Tool usage rules, and these are critical ones. So it says it should be called only once at the start of the call, because the policy detail is not required every time when it try to fetch any detail from policy, right? Tool number two should again be called only once it is collecting all the information from that person, and simply create the whole claim only one time. Otherwise, claim will be created duplicate, triplicate, and so on. So we don't want that. And in case if call transfer tool has to be used, again, it should be used only once. So once the call can be transferred, this agent can move out of the whole window. So essentially, this is how we have tool 1 to 3 and their specific usage count as well. Otherwise, I saw many times, if you don't define this, your agent can keep on calling this policy verify tool on every now and then, wherever it need any policy details to verify or to run through the next steps, right? So not very much ideal or identical to run through these kind of things, right? So it can also interrupt your conversation, impact the efficiency. At the same time, it will also impact the overall customer experience on your call, right? Tool definitions are there. What information is going to get out of the whole picture. So see here, we even define what kind of information we are going to get from there. So customer name, policy type, policy status, coverage type, start date, end date, premium amount, deductible, vehicle info, contact email, phone number, and then how it's supposed to be used. So once we get this detail, it should even hold this whole data into the system, its own memory. In case of create claim, we see here, let's say when to call once we collect all the information, but what to send to create a claim. So we have to send a policy number, we have to send the customer name, we have to send the vehicle information, all along with this incident date, incident time, location, incident description, damage description, what is can be the estimated repair cost, and even the police report, other party insurance, whatever we needed over here will be asked from this person, and all of the detail will be sent from the VAPI side towards this Airtable. And for that middle layer, we can use N10, we can use MCP, any sort of those kind of things, right? So in this case, we are going to use N10, small automation workflow, which catches all these details coming from the webhook, and it will be simply mapping those things into our Airtable to create a new claim. And what is the return thing coming out once the claim is created? It should have a claim confirmation, confirmation ID, a claim number, adjuster or the surveyor name, surveyor phone number, and expected times, contact time, like when the surveyor can call back to this guy, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 72 hours, 42 hours, and so on. And then obviously how much it should be used and so on. In case if it's supposed to transfer the call, it should do certain things like if we have specific people or other department defined like property claim, health claim, life claim, renewal specialist, we can transfer these particular call to any of these agents or any of these other people on their respective phone numbers, right? Then further down, we have error handling. So if policy verifying is not working, then say I'm trying to check it again one more time, or maybe says, sorry, I can't fetch details. Let me connect you with any human agent or a specialist, and it can transfer the call, right? So these kind of error handling supposed to be there. Otherwise, it will be a empty call. After a point of time, it will be keep on saying that, let me check that again and again and again, right? So not very much advisable. Then in case of create claim fails, what it's supposed to do? So it may say like, let's say either transfer this call to someone else who can complete your call, who can complete your entire filing. And all along with this, it should either transfer call or it may try one more time to do this, right? And in case of transfer is failing, it may say, sorry, I can't transfer call now. Please contact directly on this particular number. So we can provide a number and we can provide a department name or something like general inquiries, reception, or something like this as well. So this is how a specific tool call error handling can also be done within VAPI, right? And essentially, I think these are the most prominent failures can happen because they are external system dependent, right? So if something is happening within VAPI, it has to do some conversation, it has to check some knowledge base that VAPI can handle very well. But there are certain things which are going outside VAPI are prone to fail sometimes. Connection issues, connectivity issues, maybe authentication or so other things. And that's how system can go derailed. Now, couple of edge cases we have defined. So how to handle other person's emotion, some information misalignment, or someone is talking vague, how to handle those things. They are specifically being mentioned over here. So if customer is angry, upset, how to make it the whole conversation smooth, calm, professionalism, and so on. If they have any existing claim status, how to even respond to them. Then further down, they want to speak to a human, then we can say I'm transferring this call to human. If you already defined that you are a AI agent. Further down, multiple edge cases can be there. So customer about liability or fault, some medical injuries are there, how to handle them, and so other things. So we can maintain multiple of such things right here itself. They can come back from the system or from the agent's knowledge base or memory. Now, I think these are all the edge cases where we can define, like, it's kind of a FAQ. So if this is the thing happening, what should do? If yes, if no, and so on. Tone examples are also there. Some sort of critical reminders on the agent behavior. So sequence should be maintained all the time. Then further down, what are the stop points? Not to agree or do not greet customer with, like, I pulled up your policy detail, and then after you check the eligibility and so other things. So essentially, like, multiple more rules about this. In terms of conversation summary, how it should supposed to handle. So total 3 tool calls, total couple of question, 8 to 10 things it's supposed to ask to the other guy. And in terms of eligibility part, I see total time should not be like going more than 5 to 10 minutes. This kind of a thing also we can put in. But I hope you got it. So it's a long document. I'll share with you, or I already shared with you. You can run through this. Multiple parts are there, and you can even categorize them into specific part or a specific, let's say, bunches, how each of these things supposed to be handled. What we are going to do is I'll simply pick up this entire prompt, what we've gone through now, and I could straightforward put this into our VAPI. So we are leaving this as it is, the provider and the model. I'll say let agent speak first. So as soon as the call being picked up, agent should say hello, and then the whole conversation is going to start. Now here we can put the whole system prompt. And obviously there are a couple of good guidance given by VAPI as well. In case if you are like not relying upon GPT or Claude kind of a random input and then try to figure out best prompt, VAPI got their own inbuilt prompt generator as well. So you can define what you want to do, and it can follow the whole system prompt guide, which they mentioned over here. Obviously, a more detailed version of it, and it can give you a better version of VAPI suitable or this telephonic call suitable prompt as compared to a generic prompt from the cloud or some other system. So for now, we are putting things into the system. Now, as I said at the start, we have a couple of variables. One is called the verify policy, second is create claim, and third is called the transfer the call, right? So these variables supposed to be configured. Otherwise, this agent will try to run the variable, but it will not be able to do anything, right? So essentially, if I go here, at voice configuration is fine. It's fairly straightforward. I will say VAPI, Eloit, or any other one can be configured. Background sounds are all fine. Transcriber is by default. Deepgram is absolutely fine for me. Here is something called tools, right? And this tool section is important because this is going to interact with any of the external systems, right? So if I go here and I'll say select tools, there are good amount of tools available over here, which we created for other multiple agents. But for now, I may want to create new tools. So let me quickly publish this first, and let's go back and I'll say I would like to create a new tool. So here we have create a new tool. Now in this case, we can simply go here, create tool, and there are plenty of different tool types available, right? Since I have a targeted stuff, or let's say I would have a targeted location, I'll go with a particular custom tool which is supposed to do certain things. So if I click on custom tool, it is going to get me a function tool kind of a name. There's a tool ID, and further down we have description, we have async, sync, strict, couple of parameters can be passed through this tool, what I wanted to send to the tool or to this webhook call. And here we have server URL where this tool is pointing to, where it's going to send the information, some sort of timeout in case I would like to put, like how long it should wait for tool to respond, any authorization has to be required, and so on, right? So let's configure it from the top. I'll say this is supposed to be my policy. Okay, let me see. What is that? Verify policy is my tool over here. So I'll say this tool name is verify underscore policy, something like this, right? This tool is supposed to be called, and by the way, I already created one over here, so it will be a replica of that, but essentially the tool name, we can keep it same as it is. We'll just have to choose wisely, like which one to add where. Now, on the description, we can leave it blank, or we can say this tool is supposed to pick up the particular, let's say, tool call, should run through certain things and all. Now, apart from this, while we are trying to create this whole tool configuration, there are few things. One is whether this tool call will wait to get data, or it can simply run through on the next dialog, on the next step, on the voice agent, let's say, flow, right? So it says it should be async or sync. Sync means it's going to wait until the response comes up. Or async is it will simply move forward. It will not wait for the tool call response. And we'll see like whenever the response comes in, it can consider that into the whole conversation or whole context. So I'll keep it like sync. It should not be async. Then further down, we can have a couple of parameters. So while we configure this entire prompt, if you remember, what we said, the person supposed to provide us their policy number to check whether their policy is valid or not. So if I go down, there's supposed to be a quick conversation starter. Not over here. So we have defined a dialogue, conversation flow. See here. Hello, this is Ryan, your insurance auto insurance claim assistant from HDFC Group. May I have your policy number, right? So once this person give us the policy number, we should send the policy number and call this tool, which is called verify policy, right? So this tool will be called along with this policy number as a variable. And here we defined as policy number as variable. So I can pick it from here, and I'll say when I'm trying to send any tool call, you can get a property. That property means this tool supposed to take some information along with this. So it can be policy number, supposed to be a string, and I can even define this tool, or let's say this particular policy number should be given by the customer. So maybe some sort of data. I'll say the policy number given by the client or insurer, whoever is that, right? And it's a required thing. So without this, the tool call should not happen. It should always collect this policy number. That's a mandatory stuff. Okay, so essentially, first of all, we said one parameter supposed to go along with this tool, with this verify policy tool, and that is called the policy number. And this policy number is supposed to be collected or the given by the client or the insurer, whatever it's called, by the client or the customer, right? Whoever is calling. Then further down, it says where this tool call is supposed to take this variable. So obviously this tool call will take it to a webhook. Now this could have been, let's say, a make.com scenario. It could have been N10 automation workflow or something like this. So I'll say in this case, since we are more friendly with N10, I'll go here and let's try to pick up webhook from here. Production URL. I could even give it a name, policy verification, something like this. Any random name I could put. I'll say it's a post call because I'm going to get post data from the other side. I'll say policy verification, something like this, right? Now let's click save, and I could simply add this whole policy verification webhook, the production URL over here, right? Further down, no authorization required as such, no other message, nothing else. Everything looks pretty good. Now, one thing what we should do while we are making these tool call, this tool supposed to respond with some information back to this tool itself. So if you go to tool call at the bottom where we define this whole tool call, we said what to expect in response or what information you're supposed to getting from there. Let me, not the claim one, but the see here. So is it verify policy when immediately after the customer provide the policy number and input the policy number and the maybe if there is a policy number not available, we can ask date of birth, we can ask email address, we can ask phone number or something like this. So we can have multiple variables going out into the particular tool call, right? But what we say, what is going to return? It's supposed to return us all of these information, right? So how it's going to return this information? Obviously, fairly straightforward in case of webhook calls. We can have response. Let me zoom in over here as respond to webhook. So from wherever this webhook call came in, automatically the response can go back to the same system using a webhook responder module, right? So right here itself, I could add a module, let's say response to webhook or respond to webhook, right? Something like this. And this I could define into multiple ways. If you remember, we discussed this webhook part earlier as well. Over here, in this case, we are going to go with a simple text-based structure. And I'll tell you why we are going with text-based structure, why not JSON, as well as we have to define this whole inputs as a comma separate string, right? So we have to configure like which tool call is calling this webhook, so where to respond, and which tool call is going to consume this response on the other side. So for that purpose, let's try one thing. What I could do, I'll have to maybe go to Claude or somewhere, and I'll say I'm making a VAPI tool call. Help me to create a response with the result with the tool call ID, which I'm getting in the top, and also the whole result variable should be sent all along in the webhook response as a text string. Let's see. Let us see how it does. Okay, see here. So this is how your VAPI tool call response supposed to go. So it says there is a result, there's a tool call ID, and the result supposed to be like this. For now, let's do one thing. I'll just save a basic variable over here. So first of all, a quick check on this. Simply putting the same thing over here. Tool call ID, I'll not respond anything. Your tool did this and so the thing. That's fine. Let's click save. Let's turn it on. Go to execution. And first, let's try to even test this tool, whether it's working or not, whether it is sending some data or not. So it's just a test. We'll send some dummy data. Send a request, status 200, and we should have received a tool call here. See this. So at least this webhook got triggered. Maybe should have some dummy data or nothing else. It's all a blank query. So it says query, params, everything is blank, right? But at least we tested the webhook is being fired from the VAPI side, right? Currently, no body, no params, no query, nothing is there. It's all blank. Now, this would have even responded to it. So see here, this whole thing got responded back into this whole webhook. Now, what we got, let me copy this to editor and let's try to configure one or two basic values over here. See what we were trying. Okay, it's all blank. We even don't have a tool called ID. Execution ID is blank. Workflow. Okay, I think none of the values are coming in. I'll have to trigger it from the actual agent. So testing is done. It looks all fine. Now let's go back into our agent and just try to see. These are like incremental building approach. So when you build any such agent, when you build any such thing, at every single step, you have to keep on building small things one at a time to configure other system, to configure all the tool calls, all the external configurations as well. So what I could do now over here, I'll say, let's start a chat. Not saying hello, I'll say, hey, and then it says this is Ryan, your insurance person. May I have your policy number? So I could say anything, POL 001. And what is supposed to do? Let me check, pull up your policy one, please. Okay, that's strange because we would not have added this tool call here. Okay, we're supposed to add a tool call, which is verify policy. Let's click publish, skip and publish, and it goes here, verify policy. Let's do it one more time. Let's say, hey, POL 001. I'm just giving any random thing and see here what it did. It sent a response, or let's say a tool call over here, function argument, policy number. See, this is how it goes. So policy number, and it simply picked the same POL 001 over here, right? Tool response, there is no response found because we haven't configured anything over there, no data structure as such. At least our tool call triggered. Now, if we go back, let's go to execution and let's see how it worked. Okay, where is this? Perfect over here. And let's try to figure out. See here, it got a couple of things. So one is tool call, there is a call ID, right? Then there is a function call. The function name is called verify policy. Argument, there is one argument called policy number is this, right? So as soon as we get things over here inside the system, we can configure the next steps inside Anytime itself. So let's copy this data to editor, unpin, and here let's add one of our Airtable. So I'll say Airtable, I'll say search record, and within this, let me try to see whether we have, I think I may have to create a new connection altogether. No, let's see, where is our Airtable? It's here. Is it insurance claim DB? Let's go to create a personal access token, builder hub, write itself, PET, and I'll say insurance claim PAT. Scopes are, we'll have to add all these scopes over here. It may not require all of them, but I cautiously update because I may have to use a couple of more things. So I always add a little more scopes as per the requirement. Here I would say insurance claim DB, create token. This token is created. Let's go back. And here I could say edit connection, add a new node. Let's save. That's done. Let's see. Okay. Insurance claim DB. Perfect. It's coming here. And here I could say, now I'd like to pick up the policy table. Now, what to search over here? So I'll say I would like to search. So this is a builder formula. So essentially you have to have these kind of round bracket. And then there are two things within this. First, your variable name or the column name, which gets into a curly braces. So curly braces will pick up something from here, which is called policy ID, right? Let's go back to Anytime, and we are going to put policy ID within the curly braces is equal to, and into two simple codes, we have to enter the policy ID right here. So let's go and check where we got, see here, this is the policy ID which we are getting from our VAPI. Let's do this. And this is how the whole thing looks like over here. This could have been picked up from here as well, or tool call list anywhere is fine. Let me, perfect, this is fine. And now if I try to execute the step, I don't want to return many of the records, only one of them, which is the policy matching to this one, and execute the step. See here, we started getting all of these information all around here. So policy ID, policyholder name, type, start date, end date, everything is coming out like this. Great. Even there's supposed to be a coverage column as well. I think our database is missing that. Owner address, this is all fine. Generally, policies have a kind of coverage, whether it's a zero DAP or comprehensive or something like this. Let me add long text and I'll say coverage type or coverage details. And I could even pick some sort of things here. I'm working to build a auto insurance policy database. There are a couple of dummy policy numbers given here for cars and Jeep, and I want you to create a couple of versions of coverage of policy. This can be like zero depreciation and maybe maintenance, conveyance, or some like equipments and all. So try to create something related to insurance into auto car policy coverage details. It all looks good. Long text insert field. I think vehicle, who's the vehicle maker, is fine. Why it is not working? GPT-4. Or maybe let's try this on the GPT itself. Help me create 4 short coverage details in a CSV. Fine. So I'm just trying to add some coverage detail. Accordingly, the agent can do a little better job on this. Okay, see here. Let's copy this entire thing. Let's get into a proper Google Sheet. It is all data preparation. It generally takes this kind of time structure. And see here, we got 4 of them. All good. Let's move here. I'll say discard and I could simply put myself. There's a long text, which is coverage details. Create field. I could simply select 4 of them, copy paste, and all the values should come here within these boxes, right? So just to improvise the whole policy detail part, because as soon as we get things over here inside Anytin, it should get us the whole neat, clean details like this. Now, once we have the policy details coming out from the system, we could map these data into our response to webhook. Now, a couple of important things while we are responding to hooks. Number one, you should add this tool call ID. Why it is important? Because see, from VAPI side, multiple agents are calling multiple different people, right? Or let's say handling those actual voice calls. And at time, this may happen that these tool call get on the same webhook. So we should be aware about like which tool is calling what webhook and what kind of data is supposed to be sent back to it, right? So this tool call ID is an identifier of every unique single request. So here itself within the body, we have something called tool call ID. So I can simply map it over here and I can remove this part from this, right? Second is it says your data result as a string. So here we have to send the whole data or whole result, whatever we are picking it from this entire Airtable search record, that is policy ID and everything. So I could either write them down. I'll say policy ID should be this. So maybe either I could go with a manual typing, something like this, equal to things over here. Then maybe there's a comma and policy holder name, policy type, start date, end date, and so on. Or what I could do is I can simply take a quick screenshot of this and ask AI to help me build a proper string on this. So let's go here. Similarly, we'll go back to GPT and I'll say, okay, one sec, add a photo file. Let's go to desktop. This one. Help me create a key value pair, not in JSON, but a normal string where each of these key will be put in the name and the values of the things which are mentioned next to it, and a comma separate string, a long string without any specific colons, double quotes, or nothing. Let's see how it goes. Perfect. See here. So it got me a long string like this where all of these values are mapped. I could simply copy it just to save time. I can go back and instead of mapping everything like this, I could go here, remove it. And next time when my system is sending things back, I should know where to map what. So placeholder name goes over here. Then further down, we have auto insurance. What is insurance type? So this can go obviously over here. Further down, start date supposed to be picked up from here, and date supposed insert TDS job. Once again, like I'm telling you, it's a very lengthy and slow mappings. Let's go here. Premium type, premium amount, coverage amount should go right here itself. Deductibles are also over here. Vehicle identification number can go right here itself. Make is this. Vehicle model is over here. The customer address could go until this point. And finally, insurer name. Who's the insurer? Obviously, it can be our own company, like the company to whom they're calling. It can be there. And finally, the status, whether it's active, inactive, and so on. So this is how we have our entire thing mapped into a single string. So where we said the result of this tool call will be returned as the tool call ID and the result of the entire thing in a proper string like this, right? Now, we could have also included the coverage part. Let me see whether the coverage column got updated. Okay, now, yeah, perfect. So coverage column also got updated over here. Let's go back. And one more time, I would like to just run this to get a coverage column. See here, the coverage details are also coming like this. So let's go and put this coverage detail as well, comma, coverage detail, colon, it comes over here, right? That's it. Now, once we have everything like this is our first tool call, which is going to run through policy verification, search policy, and it will run, right? Apart from this, I'll say settings, and I should say in any case, if the policy was not found, maybe because of this POL 001, maybe it's a 111 or something like this, it couldn't found anything. In that case, it may go blank, right? And if it goes blank, it's not going to return any output over here. So I'll say, even if there is no output, at least some message supposed to go out from here, right? So I'll say, if there is no output, like there is no data coming on the result, you should still always return an output, right? Like this. And then I could have one variable over here, or maybe some sort of a if condition, or maybe let's say a quick message. So here I could say a switch function, or maybe a if case, it could be anything. And I'll say if my search return any ID or any value from here does exist, right? Then there's supposed to be two condition, true, then go with this. Else, I'll say duplicate this node and go over here and say no policy found or no result found, right? So I'll say instead result, no policy found with the given policy ID, right? Something like this. It's again one more kind of a error handling. So we're not saying tool should not return any output. If tool doesn't get any data from the error table, in that case, it should return that no policy found with the given policy ID, right? So this is how we can do error handling, or we can do some sort of edge case handling within the automation workflow right here itself. So let's click save. Let's run this one more time. It currently was saying I'm getting trouble while locating the policy. I'll close the chat it one more time, and I'll say hey or hello. Let's go with a proper case where we say our policy number is POL 001. See, it made a tool call and says, thank you, Zondo. I have pulled your, let's say, auto insurance policy. I do said your policy ended on 1st of Jan 2024 and it is currently not active. I'll arrange a call back to discuss the renewal, guide me on whatever, guide you on the other steps. Alternatively, I can transfer your call to a renewal specialist. Would you like to connect them with now, or so on? Now I'll say, instead of expiring it, let's try to have it a valid policy. Maybe this one, POL 003, right? Let's go back, close the chat one more time, and I'll say, hey, it should tell me back that get me the policy number right here. Previous chat not found. That's okay. Why? What's happening? Done. Perfect. It made a call. It got the details. Thank you, Mike Johnson. I see your policy currently showing as expired. Wow. Why it is expired? Yes, his policy is expired. Okay. Let me see. I just made it active. Let's go here and I'll say, can you please recheck? Okay. So it's not going to make the tool call one more time because we said like this tool call should be done only once. We did some database check, a change on the backend, but that's okay. Let's see. And see how quick it is. So when it sent any of these tool call, they are happening. See here, almost in 1/10 of the seconds time. So 140 millisecond, 175 milliseconds, 163 milliseconds. So it is that fast. Then when it makes the tool call, it's almost in the real time, right? So even Airtable is responding so fast, and the entire conversation happens on the real time, right? So it says, hello, Mike, I have pulled your insurance policy. I'm sorry to hear about that. You are filing a claim. Can you tell me what happened? And then it's getting into the claim details. But essentially, I hope you understood that we configured our first level thing where this tool call is sending data like this, a policy number, and then getting responses back like over here, right? Now I could say, what happened? I'll say, I met an accident. then it can carry on the entire conversation. Okay, so now this was our first tool call that went successful. We are not still going to do this talk to assistant because it'll be a little lengthy thing to talk to someone. We tested our first tool call. Now, once this entire thing goes on, we said it's supposed to make the second tool call as well. And that is about creating a claim, right? And what create claim will carry, it's supposed to have all the data which is required over here to create a claim. So obviously not claim ID as such, but policy ID, the claim title, the claim date, amount, status, not even a status, let's say claim type, as I would say, incident location, incident description, damage description, and all. And it's supposed to ask all these relevant questions for the from the insurer or from the customer side, right? So now what I could do, I said here, let's say if I go back to this one, let's go back to tool calls right here itself, and we would like to add another tool right at the bottom. We said there is a create new tool, right? Now this create new tool, we can have again one more custom tool created, and this custom tool will get all the details about this particular claim, right? So I'll say here create claim is going to be my tool name because that's what we have mentioned inside our prompt or inside our entire system instructions as well. So let's go here, insurance claim agent, open this, and let's try to see this tool name called create claim, right? Something like this. Now at the bottom we provided what information it's supposed to carry. So when the create claim tool has to be triggered, it should carry a couple of inputs. One is the policy number, second is customer name, third is vehicle info, and so many things. So let's copy everything, or maybe at least a few things. I'll say policy number, I'll go here and I can add them into parameters. Now since I have the policy number, but once the details are being collected by the agent, it will be a second webhook which will be triggered on the annotant side to create this claim, right? So I'll say policy number supposed to go here. Then I could say it's a required variable. Without that, it will not be able to create a claim. Second is add one more property. I'll go here and I'll say customer name supposed to be passed. I don't want that. Vehicle info is not required because as soon as guys get the policy number, I can fetch all of these information right from here on this entire table, right? So we don't have to be worried about this. Vehicle info is there. Incident date is something customer is going to tell us, right? So I'll say incident date supposed to be here as a property key. I can add that. And obviously all of these things are mandatory, are required. There are multiple types also available. I could say a string, boolean, number, object, or array. I'll keep it as a string, fairly easy, straightforward. And we can even put what kind of date format we are looking for. So it can be ISO, year, month, and date. So let's go and even paste that. So while agent is trying to calculate things or will build up all these properties, it will know how and what to call and how to structure this all. Incident time, let's go here. A string is fine. Add one more property, incident location. I'll go here and we could simply say it's also a required field, apply. This was also a required field. Let's click on this, apply. Let's add a couple of more. Incident description is required. I'll say this one, string is fine, done. At the bottom, we should have damage description. That's there. Let's try to add one more and let's have, okay, sorry. Let's do this required information. Then further down, estimated repair cost. So customer supposed to tell like what they think will be the estimated repair cost for their vehicle. So I'll say let customer also respond with this. It's a required thing. Apply. Police report number. It says if provided, else null. Then other party insurance if provided, else null. So these are two optional things. So I'll say police report number if available will carry this. So I'll say add property to this one. It is not required. I'll still just carry it as a normal property on a string level. Then other party insurance information, if they have, all good, else we will skip that. So I'll go here, other party information, insurance information, click apply, and that's it. Now here we have to put a server or webhook URL. We're supposed to get all of these details on the N8N side. So let's go here. Let's try to pick up this, something like this. And let's add one more node, which is going to be a webhook node. Right here, I could even give it a name. So I'll say create claim inputs, right? Like this. It will again going to be a post call because we are expecting a post call to happen from the other side. Create claim inputs, and that's all good to go. So let's have it over here, right? So this is the part where we got our things, and then we are going to simply add this one. Rest everything remains as it is. Looks good. Click save, and let's try to test this along with our click save execution. And at this point, let's test it and see whether it is getting See, status is 200. That means our N10 automation workflow is getting the hit right here itself. And if I go down, let's see. Obviously, all of these are blank, but at least we are getting a hit on create claim input, right? So this information will be passed over here. Now, similar to what we did at the top on this part, we have to do respond to webhooks using respond webhook node, right? So this one has to be happen, like this should be selected. And then we are going to choose one more response node. I can simply duplicate this. I can go here and at least connect this part and see what we have to do. Couple of things. One is I'll remove this, as well as we'll have to change some data altogether. And what data is supposed to be changed? I hope you remember that when we said we are going to create a claim, it's supposed to return a couple of things: claim ID or claim number, confirmation ID, adjuster name, adjuster phone number, right? And the expected contact time frame, 24 hours, 1 day, 48 hours, and so on. So in this case, I need these many values to be put into my webhook response. So I can just go here, simply trying to put this. So claim number supposed to be there, some value should go. Confirmation ID, we don't have any confirmation ID. I'll just skip this. Then we have adjuster name, which can be same always. So I can say adjuster could have been, let's say, Sarah Jones. Then adjuster's phone number could go here, which could have been +91 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, something like this. And the expected time frame to respond to this could have been, let's say, 48 hours. Right. I just have to map one value called claim number. That's it. And rest everything we have already over here. So Sarah Jones is someone who's going to call us on this particular claim, and she will be the adjuster or she will be the surveyor. It's called surveyor, adjuster, anything like this. And the phone number also being mentioned. And now tool call ID is missing. We have to update this once we get it on the webhook, right? So let's try this. Let's click save. And one more time, we can go ahead and test our entire VAPI instance. So talk to an agent. Let's start chat. And I'll say, hey, this is Ran. Okay, fine. POL 003. Let's go. It called the policy tool. Got the response. Sorry to hear that you have to file a claim. When the incident occurred, I'll say yesterday at 11 p.m. Now it is asking, okay, thank you. Let me confirm few details. You mentioned yesterday means 29th of this. Let me check your policy. Everything looks good. Could you please share me where the incident happened? So I could say at Times Square in New York. Looks good. Thank you providing. Was anyone injured in the accident? No one. Glad. Please, can you describe what happened? So I'll say a garbage truck struck my car from back. Describe damage. I'll say backlights and bumper got damaged. Okay, it says backlight bumper. Based on what do you think would be the estimation of the cost to repair this? Even though the rough estimation, I'll say $1,000. Okay, was any other vehicle involved in accident other than garbage truck? If yes, I'll say no. Did you file a police report? No. Okay, what it says, thank you for providing information. Claim is successfully noted. You will receive a confirmation email with claim details in the claim number, adjuster information. Is there anything I can assist you with? That's all fine. And what I'm missing is it did not trigger the claim tool. Why so? Because we haven't added the tool inside VAPI on this particular agent. So these things I'm like keep on missing. I just have to add this create claim tool, and let's click publish one more time. And we have to do one more testing again. So let's say, hey, okay, SPOL 003. And we are going to have a complete interaction on voice call as well. Or any of you can do that. What happened? Car accident. Good time for now. I'll say yes. When? I'll say yesterday, 10 p.m. in London. No one. Okay. A garbage truck hit my car from back. Backlights, tail lights, rear bumper, and even the boot got smashed. Okay, based on damage, I think $1,000. Why I'm doing this? Because it's supposed to, once it collects all the information, it's supposed to trigger the whole tool call, right? So we can get the data over there. Was another vehicle involved? I'll say no other vehicle except the garbage truck. Yes, I did. Report number PL, police report 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's fine. See, so what it did, it triggered this create claim tool, and it is sending all of these information. Even it tried twice because it couldn't do it. It said incurring an issue. So it tried one more time because we had the thing in prompt that in case if we get stuck with the create claim tool, you have a error handling, you should re-trigger or retry one more time. Else you should say, I am going to transfer this to someone else. So that's why I did. And then it says, I see some issue while creating this. Let me try again or escalate to a specialist, right? So would you like to escalate this? I'll say no, nothing for now. Let's go back and let's try to see the execution. Did we get any hit over here? Perfect. We got something at this point. And see, we got this tool called ID, the create claim and everything. Incident date, incident time, police number, policy number, incident location, damage backlights and all, this one, even the police report number and the estimated repair cost, right? So while processing everything, it even does all of these in like a variable collection as such. I'll say copy to editor. Let's move back. Now, based upon the policy number, first of all, we'll have to go and try to search the policy so we can connect it with the particular claim. So I'll say duplicate. I'll go here and let's try to build it. So this is our search policy, fairly straightforward. We are going to get this policy number right from one of the variable over here, right? This is the one. Now, it can get us all the policy detail as soon as we trigger it, along with a proper ID of this particular record, right? And as I said, we don't have to collect these policy holder name or like start date, end date, vehicle numbers. Everything is already available inside the policy. Now, after this, we would like to create a record inside Airtable, which is going to capture the policy data. So I'll say create a record, sorry, the claim data. And over here, we'll say insurance use case, base supposed to be this, table supposed to be claim table. And right here, we have a couple of things. First of all, a claim ID. Now this claim ID can be inserted by us over here, maybe based upon some timestamp or something like this, or this could have been auto-generated. I'm not sure if you remember still, we did something earlier, concate and auto-generate numbers into Airtable. So what I could do, I go to Airtable. Currently, it's all kind of a text or a string long text. I can add one column here which says auto number, and this could have been like, let's say, claim, maybe just auto numbers, CN or AN, that's fine. And right after this, I could have this particular field, not as CL or something like this. I can say edit field, and instead I would like to make it a formula field. And this formula field will have a formula called concatenate. And this concate is going to have two things. One is something called, let's say CL dash. So I'll have to put it into two curly braces, sorry, these kind of quotes. And here I could say it should pick up the AN right here itself, right? And then closing it. So see what it becomes, CL-1. I could have put in something more, let's say a couple of zeros, which could go with again double quotes and a comma separation. So now it says CL001. I hope you can see this. See here, preview of this. So now this is how we can do concatenation within Airtable, and obviously anywhere. You can do this in Google Sheet, you can do this into your monday.com, any spreadsheet or any kind of databases, you can build these kind of formulas. Now, once we're getting things here, what we said we don't want, and as soon as we make any change into Airtable, it's going to tell us that you should refresh. Currently, it is blocked. Why? Because it's a calculated value and it has some formula, should not go from here. Policy ID. Now, this is something interesting. So policy ID at this point is a mapping field from the other table. See here, policy ID is coming up like this. And if I click on this, I get to see all the policy details. So in this case, if I go into N10, I should not supposed to map this policy ID here. It'll give me error. It'll say like, it's not a valid one. If I execute this step, it'll say invalid input for policy ID because it is not taking a string. What could I do? I can even add this ID over here, right? So for example, this one, and even if it try this, it's supposed to fail because it says it is expecting an array instead of a normal string. So how to make it an array? You can simply, like how we used to do into make.com. Similarly, there is something called dot. I could use a split function, and a split can be like this, a blank split, right? Because there is nothing to split. There is only one single string available. So I'll say just split. And then as soon as you put this split function, it's not going to do anything. It's simply putting things into an array. See here. So this kind of an array, right? So just using these kind of functions, it can make things very, very easy, right? So policy ID is here. Then claim title, we're supposed to get it from our system, which should have things over here. Let's see. Okay, we are missing that information from there. Claim date can be picked up right from here itself. Now, this may also fail because it is giving us date like this, 2025, 11, 29. I'll show you how to fix it. Then we have claim amount. Claim amount, what this person is asking is $1,000. or maybe later on can be updated by the repairer or by the person who's handling this. Then further down, what we have claim status, we can always keep it as pending. This can again go with any static value from there. Claim type, it's an accident claim or it's a property damage. We're not taking this variable also from the system. We'll have to define it there. But for now, I'll say accident. Location can be mapped directly from here. Incident description, right here. Damage description, right here itself. Repair cost, what this person is expecting is here. Police report filed, yes or no. It could tell me yes, no on a variable right here itself. And police report reference number goes over here. I think we are missing a couple of variables to come from VAPI. So let's go here and let's try to do one thing. Not this one. Let's go to tools. And this tool is supposed to have our recently created create claim tool where we may have to define some more variables. But this is how the AI agents are working. So almost a quick interaction, quick information exchange between the tools. Okay, what we should add over here is one more variable which says claim underscore title can be a string. Give a short title within 5 to 7 words. Apply this, and it's a mandatory field. It should be there, so that's fine. Then I could say one more variable over here, police report filed. Return as yes or no. So this could happen there. Then further down, what else we are expecting into the system is police report filed. Claim status will going to be pending. Claim type is going to be an accident or property damage. Again, like it's supposed to be accident only, but still that's fine. Let's try to ask this guy claim underscore type. Is this accident or property damage? Something like this. It should be a required field. Click apply. What else we are missing out into this? Claim title, we already asked it. Claim amount, we don't know. So I think we can skip this part. We know this proper repairing cost, right? But claim amount can be decided by the surveyor, how much supposed to be paid, right? Yes, no is here. Other party insurance information, all is good. I think that's everything looks good. Let's go back and let's click save. So we got plenty of information here. We'll have to reinitiate. Okay, maybe let's try. Can you please retry? Since this chat was open, I don't have to run through. Okay, excellent. It got us a couple of things, and I hope it's working as per the new tool call. Claim type accident, title, garbage truck, rear collision. Let us see. This one is the execution. Now it's getting me only two variables over here. I think it's giving us information in part and parcel. We'll have to run through once again from scratch just to get the right info. Let's say, hey, POL 003. There was an accident here there yesterday 11 p.m. when no one, a garbage truck hit my car from back end, backlight, the bumper and the boot got damaged. Okay, now it's calling this. It's all fine, and I think it's supposed to get some more information here. So we have to do these many things all the time. Wow. Okay. It did not even hit that because I disconnected the root. Guys, give me just 1 second. Let's see. Everything looks good. Click save. Let's try to at least execute one of them. Request record will not find processed by the system. Claim date cannot be accepted. Okay, this is something I had to show you, but that's fine. I'll tell you in a bit. Execute this step. Perfect. Click save. I should say it retry, and it should have one more execution. Let's see what kind of drill is getting it now. So claim type, claim title, incident, police report filed. Yes, there is a number also coming in. Perfect. See here, we got plenty of more information coming out like this. Copy to editor, unpin the data from the previous one, and here we say create a record. Now claim title can be mapped right from here, which is the claim title goes like this. Claim amount we are leaving blank for now. It's a pending, it's an accident. So I could even map it directly like this. So claim type can be an accident over here. Then location is fine, description, damage, everything is good. Police report filed, yes, no. This could have been directly picked up right from here itself. And then other party insurance, we haven't even captured it now. Everything else looks pretty good. So I think we are good with this. I'll say create a new claim. And you might think like why we are spending time on N10 instead of on VAPI, but this is a important step or important component of your entire system structure, right? Now, what to respond to this particular one? So here we have a couple of things. Tool call ID. If you remember last time, we had tool call ID coming in like this. Tool call ID supposed to be mapped over here. And that's how it will be able to recognize that there is a tool call coming in. Then claim number is going to come from this system. Okay, create new claim. There is an ID, and then here are the field. So claim ID is CL-ID, whatever, number 8. Adjuster name, everything else I just kept it as static. So adjuster is Sarah Jones. Her name number is this. Expected time frame 48 hours. Done. These information supposed to go back to the agent. Let me try one more time. Retry, please. And let's see. It should get the claim information right here itself if it makes the tool call. Okay, perfect. See here, this time it did. So it says your claim is successfully created, Mike. Your claim number is this. I assigned Sarah Jones as your claim adjuster. She will contact you in next 48 hours, discuss next steps. Additionally, a secure document link has been sent to you for your document upload. Please use the link to upload a document like photos, vehicle damage, police report within next 24 hours. Is there anything else I can assist you with this? I'll say nothing. All good. So at least this first level is working fine with the help of 2 automation workflows or 2 tool calls like this. Are we clear until this point? Now let's give it a real life quick interaction. So if I go here and I'll start talking to the assistant, let's see how it goes. Okay, key doesn't allow assistant ID to be used. Okay, insurance agent. Let me go here. See, whenever you're trying to do things from this part, it says talk to assistant. You should always figure out API key, and you should be able to add or maybe allow one of the agent talking here. So public API key, I'll just add test to agent is this agent, create public token, close, go back to assistant right here, can refresh it, and it can allow me to talk as well. Because see, chat does not consume so much token, but this part is going to take good amount of cost. So I'll say talk to assistant.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, this is Ryan, your insurance claims assistant from HDFC Agro.
Can you hear?
May I have your auto insurance
Chaitanya,
policy
can you
number
hear?
to assist you with filing a claim today?
Yes. So my policy number is POL 003.
I wasn't able to locate a policy with the number POL003. Let me check it again using your name and date of birth. Could you share your full name and date of birth, please?
Sorry, can you just retry with the policy number? It's POL003.
I apologize, I'm unable to locate your policy.
Yeah.
Let me transfer you to a specialist who can assist you further. Please hold for a moment. I am sorry, but I'm unable to perform your request under the segment you reached me under.
Okay, maybe let me try this 1 second. And even this POL, Paul, I could say a number. Maybe if we can simplify this whole policy part, let's say not POL 003, if I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it may work better. And it's not a bypass as such, but still the accent issue and the whole training part should be there. Maybe we can put more better prompt to
Hello?
him. Hello.
Hello, this is Ryan, your insurance claims assistant from HDFC Agro. May I have your policy number to get started on your auto insurance claim?
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I've pulled up your auto insurance policy, and it's active with coverage until June 1st, 2027. I'm sorry you need to file a claim today. Could you tell me when the accident occurred?
So it was day 4 yesterday in night 11 p.m.
Got it. Thank you for specifying. The accident occurred on November 28th, 2025 at around 11 p.m. Let me check that this date falls within your policy coverage period. One moment, please. Your policy coverage is active until June 1st, 2027. This date is valid for filing a claim. Could you tell me where the accident happened?
It was near the Kandivali, Mumbai area.
Thank you for sharing that. I've noted the location of the accident as Candy Valley area. Were there any injuries following the accident?
No, no one injured.
I'm glad to hear that everyone was safe. Could you now describe what happened in the accident?
So someone hit my car from back end.
Got it. Thank you for explaining. I'll make a record that your car was hit from the back end. Could you also describe the damage to your vehicle? Like, is it the bumper, taillights, or something else?
Yeah, so the bumper, boot, and tail lights were completely smashed.
Thank you for that detail. It seems like the damage includes the bumper, boot, and taillights being completely smashed. Can you estimate the repair cost? A rough guess is perfectly fine, such as, is it a few hundred or perhaps several thousand?
I think about $2,000.
Thank you for providing that estimate. Based on your information, a rough repair cost would be about $2,000. Since your policy includes a deductible of $1,500, any claim you file will cover costs above that amount. Was another vehicle involved in this accident? If yes, do you happen to have the other driver's insurance information?
No, I don't know who did that, so I am not having any information about them.
Understood. Since you don't have information about the other on a vehicle or a driver will proceed without that detail. Did you file a police report for this incident? If so,
Yes,
do
I
you
did.
have that's good. Do you have the police report number? It will be helpful to include in your claim.
Yeah, it's there. So it's a POL 001.
Thank you for providing the police report number, which is PON001. I'll include this in your claim. Now I have all the necessary information to file your claim. Let me create your claim in our system now. This will just take a moment. Excellent. Your claim has been successfully created. Your claim number is CL-10, Sarah Jones, and they will contact you within 48 hours. Photos of the damage, the police report, if you have it. You will receive a confirmation email with all your claim details, including your claim number and adjuster contact information. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding this claim?
No, nothing for now. All good.
Thank you for calling, Mr. Johnson. Remember, your claim number is CL-10. Don't forget to upload your documents within 24 hours using the link we sent you. If you have any questions, you can reference your claim number when you call us. Take
Okay.
care and have a great day.
Done. So what I did, and let's see what happened over here. So this would, yeah, this created the whole claim. It's CL10, rear end collision, 2810, amount we haven't put anything, pending accident, Candy Valley. Okay, so Scandi Valley. Vehicle hit from back end, port bumper completely smashed, $2,000, PON 001, report filed, no other information. And all of these things we can obviously get vehicle number, make, model from our policy detail side, right? So essentially, a quick view on, let me even hide these things. They are not required to be presented. Done. So this is how we can have all of these basic information collected. In case if we had the other party's insurance information, then we could have even included them. But yep, that's there. And earlier to this call, we had $4.67 in our credit. This call took us approximately $1 more than that, a little more than that. So 4.67 became 3.13, right? So about $1.40, 130 rupees type. Now I think we can also take a look at the call transfer part. So there are two type of transfers available over here. One is called the transfer within like through a phone number, and second is the transfer across agent. So there's something called forwarding number, and here I would say it should go to maybe to someone's number. This is the whole number what we have here. So now in case if the call has to be escalated, it should be transferred. It's a bare minimum straightforward function to transfer calls. Let's see how it works. So it can forward a call to someone, forwarding phone number, and let me talk. Okay. In this case, I'll have to even initiate a call to this agent itself, right? I cannot talk directly only on this web because it's not a call happening on the system. Like it's not a call happening on the phone. So phone calls can be transferred, not this kind of a calls. So okay, one more thing. They have given something called transfer plan. So while it is sending a transfer, should it also send whatever conversation happened so far, or should it leave it a blank transfer and the other person should initiate conversation again from scratch? So that also is the matter, right? But okay, we can do one thing. So let's first explore the call forwarding, and I could also do one thing. I'll say one of your number for a blind transfer. So I'll say this one is here, no extension, nothing. Caller ID is not required. Message to customer, I'm transferring your call to the right person. Enter, I'll decide when to use this. Whenever you are stuck or not sure or not handling the inputs, then transfer this call, right? Something like this. That's all fine. Transfer call. That's the first part. I will remove the second one, and rest everything looks good. Let's choose this. Perfect. We got one number over here. And since we already put it in the prompt that in case if this agent doesn't understand something, or if it is not within the his area, he should be able to transfer the call. See here. So transfer means end. After transferring call, you should be able to end this call. So transfer call is a variable where we have put it on multiple places. Tool call is fine. Transfer to appropriate department when needed, right? So this tool is supposed to be used at that time. So this tool is already mentioned, and now we have also associated or created this transfer call tool. What I could do, I'll just remove this. Transfer call is here. Click save, and let's go back to agent, insurance agent. We have to associate one more tool over here. So two things, one is the transfer call tool, second is the forwarding part. Let's click skip publish, and let me change my camera. I'll have to call to this agent It's supposed to be on Twilio. All fine. Rest everything looks good. Everything came here as well. Let's go to phone numbers. I can go with one of these phone numbers. And here I'll say this assistant should be working with this particular phone number, right? So we allocated this phone number for the assistant. Assistant is insurance claim assistant over here. No scots, nothing. Fallback destination is fine and nothing else. Let's click save. Now I'm going to call to this particular agent from my phone on this number. Right, let's see how it goes. I'll ask it, you should tell me, let's say, something about health insurance policy or XYZ things. And let's see how it goes. So I'll use this number, supposed to be +1 201 793 3507.
Hi, Bobby.
Not this one. Other number, Geo. Let's see. Should have this number should have been mapped.
It's not connected with Twilio.
Oh, we tried, yeah. Now it's studio, but option to publish on the tools, it's all fine. Anything else? No, this looks good. Everything looks good. Weird. Maybe some issue with this phone number connectivity then. I'm not very sure. Okay, but still, I'll try to see this why it is not giving me the option to save, because it's fairly straightforward. It should give me option to save and then should come on the web. Currently, it's blocked. It's not giving option to publish. If I refresh, it's going to again go to web one more time. I'll have to check. So guys, what I would recommend is please try things yourself. When you create a new VAPI account, you will have a free 10 or $10 credit. When you create a video account, you'll get $15 of credit, and you already have this entire prompt. You understood like how to build these tool or these basic use cases. My recommendation is you can go to assistant and at least try to have some pre-configured assistant, let's say lead qualification, customer support, appointment setter and all. And these assistants supposed to talk to the tools, right? So let's say lead qualification specialist is there. You can have maybe lead information coming from your CRM, or this information getting updated into CRM using a tool, not as a transcript output, right? So try with any one of them, a care coordinator, anything, or you can start with a basic from scratch. But the whole idea is if you can get a better command on tools, the agent become more powerful as compared to what it is now. Right? So that is, I would strongly
And
recommend.